So, you guys seem to like Angry Birds as much as I do. Well, if that's true, then you must like all of the birds too. Oh, so you like the Angry Birds then? Name every bird. You can't do it? Amateur. Watch this. There's Red, the Blues, Chuck, Bomb, Matilda, Hal, Terrence, Bubbles, Stella, Silver, Leonard, Melody, Tony, the Eggs, Rhinoceros, Graybird, Ruby, Female Whitebird, Striped Bird, Penguin, Mighty Dragon, Mighty Basketball, Sonic the Hedgehog, Developer Birds, Bomb Bomb, Nana, Billabino Bird, Cocoa Bird, Obama Bird, and the Mighty Eagle. Okay, fine, you got me. That is only 30 of the insane list of Angry Birds in this game. Yes, the word bird certainly gets stretched to its limits here. But rest assured, the Angry Birds wiki has all of the information we need on all of these, even ones like Bomb Bomb and Obama Bird. I apologize if these more obscure ones only have a single PNG showing on screen, but I don't really know what else to tell you. Also, this is basically a part 1. If you guys like this video enough, I'd be more than happy to cover the rest. Keep in mind the insane amount of birds in the Star Wars and Transformers games. And there are some crazy ones like Don Cheeto Bird left over too, don't worry. Now, without further ado, let's discuss which birds are part of the flock, and which ones should switch careers to TikTok.
Friends sometimes kiss each other, right?
Before this video gets absolutely insane, let's have just a moment of normalcy. Obviously the later ones will be full of jokes, but let's take this main cast seriously, okay? Red is everyone's main man. If you were to guess what his name is, most likely you would get it right. He's the most basic bird of the group, but does get his personality in some media like Angry Birds tunes. He's pretty uptight, yet caring. He's almost like the mom of the group, besides Matilda, of course. And while he's cool and all, he is certainly the Mario of the series. He literally has no power in the majority of the games, which is crazy, but it also means I have no qualms about putting him in B tier. Otherwise known as Jay, Jake, and Jim. There can only be one Jake! The Blues are the 3 wacky brothers, always up to shenanigans. I always thought it was cool that their power from the original game translated them into 3 different characters rather than a guy that splits up into clones on command. Blue is also my favorite color, so they get props for that. But in the tunes specifically, I always found them to be extremely annoying. They're like the Jerry of the series, while everyone else is Tom. They can't lose and they're selfish and evil. I genuinely want the pigs to put them on the stove and crank up the heat. And they can only break ice in the game, which is super unhelpful. I don't even bring them in when I play Angry Birds 2. So ultimately I don't hate them enough for D tier, but I will say C tier. Let's start with some compliments. He is great at breaking wood, no doubt about that. He's able to reach pretty high places that most birds have no shot at. What else? I like his eyebrows. Okay, I can't take it anymore. He's too full of himself and he's just the worst. It's Angry Birds Toon's fault that I hate him, okay? They hardly ever give him an episode to redeem himself. He's always the villain somehow. Thunderchuck gave him a chance, but otherwise he's just a dick all the time. And nobody likes a dick all the time. Sometimes, sure, I'll tolerate it. Let's go. But all the time, you're pushing your luck, Scoob. D tier. What the actual? Okay. I'm sorry if you're like in love with the yellow bird from the Angry Birds franchise, but don't worry, I'll get down and dirty with Bomb any day. Not only is his power OP in nearly every scenario, not only does he get the shockwave ability that is crazy cool, not only is he a chill guy that I want to hang out with, but he is also the bomb. Also, this white dot on his head is stupid. D tier. Oh, come on, I got you, didn't I? You started screaming and throwing your iPad on the ground and stomping around the living room, didn't you? Well, knock it off. He's clearly an S. We all know it, so let's stop crying and move on. Like I said, Matilda is really the mom for the birds. She cooks them food, she nurtures the eggs. She actually is constantly giving birth to new eggs on the battlefield. Wait, what the f- She's murdering her children? Somebody called ambulance. We're losing them. I think I'm scarred for life. A tier. Hal is literally the best bird. I don't know why I like him so much, honestly. I think I just like the guy that they always forget about. Hal is so underused that when he shows up ever, I start bashing my head into the wall with excitement. His power is crazy, giving you the ability to attack from behind. I have so many fond memories of him as a kid, like the stage in the original Angry Birds where Terrence and him are the only playable characters, or that summer picnic animation. So freaking epic. He's going in S, clearly. While he may seem like just another redbird, Terrence is so much more than that. He's crazy powerful and he's a man of mystery. What's his backstory? Is he a god or is he just a peculiar bird? That's just the thing, nobody knows. I like that about Terrence. He sticks with the flock even though he clearly could ascend to another plane of existence with a bat of an eye. I think that's S material. Who doesn't love the cute little guy they introduced for the Halloween levels of Angry Birds Seasons? All my inflation-loving homies out there stan Bubbles. And I really can't blame them. It's a pretty unique power that can really take out some pigs when he needs to. I've also always loved his tie to the Halloween events in each game. It makes him feel unique. Also, he is voiced by Ian Smosh in the movie, so bonus points, duh. I'll say A tier. He's cute, but his power isn't perfect, and he doesn't do a whole lot. Well, when Stella was introduced, I don't think they were really leaning towards the feminine look for Matilda yet, so she was kind of a big deal, although it's kind of awkward since she was released for the back-to-school stages. What are you trying to say, Rovio? Enough about sexism, let's talk about her power. She uses bubbles, not the bird, I know that's confusing, to lift up the objects around her and then pops them, letting the items fall and cause damage. Honestly, unless a stage is made for her, she's not that helpful. I'd probably go for Red before Stella in most cases. But I honestly like her design a lot, and we can't neglect the fact that she starred in her own game. The game never received an update, but she did have unique power to jump from block to block, pushing things over in the process. I thought that power was pretty cool, and it was way more helpful than the mainline one. Let's see, I like her design, but I hate her power. I guess a B then? Yeah, let's pretend I'm confident. While Silver was created way after most of the birds in the franchise, she is the next mainline character. In Angry Birds 2, she was the brand new bird, and her power is not very good. She does a little spin and then slams straight down. In the original Angry Birds game, I could see this being helpful, but in most instances, I would rather use any other bird than her in the sequel. And with the newer version, I can literally leave her out of the flock, which I always do. I think her design is fun and the power is definitely unique, but ultimately it just isn't great. Also, she never gets used in any other game. She's just a main character in the second movie for some reason. And that design sucked. And she was a love interest for Red, which also sucked. I'm going all the way down to D. Sorry. I wanted so badly not to include Leonard, but in the end I decided to include everyone that was listed as a bird on the wiki. Now, we're both looking at Leonard, and he's not fooling us. That's a freaking pig. But in Angry Birds 2, he's part of the flock with his own power and everything. What's the power? Oh, nothing, just 3 snot bombs! Basically, you can choose when to fire them, sending them backwards each time. If you're like a genius, you can pull out some pretty crazy stunts with this. But you cannot tell me you've ever done crazy good with this guy, right? It's very complex. I think it's really cool, and I'm not going to dock points for it, but seriously, it is hard to master. Also, one last important thing. He's not a bird, D tier. Melody is the newest bird in the series, just recently being added to Angry Birds 2. Her power is extremely helpful since it sucks up all the items in front of her and you have this option of shooting them wherever you choose. I found that boss fights are especially great for her since you can just take half their damage out with Melody alone. Not a huge fan of the design, I've got to say, although I am happy that she started the brown bird, continuing the tradition of choosing a new color for each main flock member. Again, her power is just so helpful. She takes out whole buildings with just one big ol' suck. She's pretty cool, I'll give her an A tier. I remember when Terrence knocked on Tony's door and we see this light blue bird for the first time. It's pretty rare to see new birds included, especially in Angry Birds Seasons, so it was really awesome to get something new. Tony was like a prototype Silver, where he goes straight down when he uses power. He also is as strong as Terrence, which definitely helps out clear stage. If you don't need his power, you can just go through his structure like Terrence would. It's pretty cool. My personal headcanon is that Tony is the child of Terrence and Icebird, but maybe they're cousins, okay? Either way, I already love Terrence, so a blue version is even more awesome. S tier. I wanted more than anything to not include the eggs on this list, but for the sake of consistency, here they are. I'm a firm believer that the eggs came before the chickens, which means they can't possibly be one and the same. Let's look at the wiki to see why these count as birds. Says they're pronounced as Egna. Angry Birds Universe has normal eggs, but these are not the same. They have been used as food, such as cakes. Okay, screw you Angry Birds Wiki, this shouldn't count. You get D tier. I've been waiting this whole tier list just so we can get to Rhinoceros. While they were never playable, they did appear in the same form as pigs and birds with just their heads, and need to be saved in some bird day levels in the original game. Sadly they haven't appeared since then, but we can dream that the third Angry Birds movie will bring their return. While they have a fun design, they didn't do anything, so they get a B. This is an interesting one. Some early art for the Angry Birds game shows this gray bird. It's clearly not Matilda, and Silver has now replaced this guy, but nevertheless he definitely existed at some point and clearly is more of a bird than a rhinoceros. Is it just me, or does this character look like Bomb and Chuck died and they Frankenstein their body parts into the gray bird? I think I might be onto something. He really does have a bit of charm to him, but not enough to make me care. C tier. Oh man. Ruby is so hot. Oh, what the? Girl bird's corpse? Rovia, that is messed up, man, on like so many levels. Anyways, Ruby's so cute and I like her. Angry Birds fans famously love her for like no reason. She's never done anything other than look cute. So I'm not gonna rain on their parade. Let's put her an A. On the other hand, we got female Whitebird over here. Newsflash, Matilda is female, so your title is quite redundant. Furthermore, you Ruby wannabe, the fans don't even like you, considering you're still known as female Whitebird. Get dogged on, loser. D tier. Striped bird? Striped bird? Striped bird? Striped bird! Striped bird? Oh yeah, striped bird. Want to know the cruelties this just born child has faced? Well, let me tell you. The flock rudely painted their own egg just before they're about to hatch, and the paint bled through the egg and dyed the skin of their child. Then, they named the bird after the deformity they caused. Poor little fella. He is really cute, though. The stripes are honestly an improvement. I'll give you a pity B tier. You can't convince me that this penguin is not an egg in disguise. Do you know how I know this? Look very closely. Right there at the bottom. Feet. Angry Birds do not have feet. This is an imposter, and if you're sus, you go in D tier. That's just the rules. I don't make them, I just enforce them. If you're a real OG Angry Birds fan, then you religiously watch the cinematic trailers. And that Angry Birds Year of the Dragon short is one of the coolest ones by far. The Mighty Dragon is the main star of the animation, who seems pretty scary and ominous. He's quite cute in the game though, but I really don't mind that. It's honestly really cool to have a straight up dragon alongside the rest of these guys.
Ni hao, Mighty's little friends.
I love him a lot and he deserves an S ranking. This time they've gone too far! What is cool about replacing a Mighty Eagle with a basketball? A Spalding one, no less. Nothing. Nothing is cool about a Mighty basketball. Basketballs can't be mighty, that's just a fact. We all know this. Basketballs can't be birds either, just ask science. Therefore, this neither excites me nor fits the criteria of being a bird, so I have no choice but to put it in D tier. The darkest pit of hell is open to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. Sonic the Hedgehog, he's an awesome hedgehog. I know all of you guys love Epic for some stupid reason, so it's no brainer that you love the only new bird added in that game, Sonic the mother flippin' hedgehog. This is not a joke, by the way. I don't make jokes. If something I say seems funny, that's your fault, not mine. They really went all out with this update too. Most of these weird characters are just seen once, and that's that. But Sonic can join your party, he's playable. He has a full moveset, and there was some Sonic themed gear that were added too. Even the enemies for this event were from Sonic. I suppose Angry Birds had some strange crossovers as full games like Transformers, so it's not that crazy. They really didn't try too hard on his animations, so that sucks. But otherwise, as previously stated, this is Sonic the Hedgehog. Way past cool, man. Sonic is an S tier bird, what more can I say? These are technically 3 different birds, but my opinion on them is all the same, so let's do them together. These are the first birds of the list that are based on real people, but don't you worry, it only gets better from here. They are known as the developer birds, and as the name implies, they are based on the developers of the game. They honestly look a lot like the actual people, but they have some fun colors as well. I especially like their hair and the giant foreheads on those two. But they're also boring and not really funny or exciting in any way, so I think B would be a nice spot for them. Tell me why Bomb Bomb has the absolute coolest design in Angry Birds history, yet has never really existed. He was found in the files of Angry Birds Seasons and looks like a combination of the Blues and Bomb, where it's split in 3 and then each one would blow up. That's really awesome, and I imagine this would be a lot of fun. For some reason they never used him, but for real, there's just a way better version of Bomb. He's super cute and I'm putting him in S tier. So here's Nana. She's from Nana and the Magic English Words. You may be wondering how she has anything to do with Angry Birds, but look, there's Stella. Really don't need any more evidence than that. She's the main character of a manga where she meets Stella and all of her friends. She's just like an anime child. I don't like her one bit. She's quite possibly as distant from being a bird as you can be. So you gotta be D tier, hate to break it to you, Nana. Billy Beano Bird is pretty self-explanatory, C tier. What, you need more? Fine, you greedy pig, this guy's a birdzona for a clothing line. I like when real people are birdified, but I think it's lame when they just have hair and clothes. Like, try harder. The developer birds are a great example of this. Birds don't got no hair, they have feathers. If this guy has hair, that means he's not really a bird, which means I don't like him, which means he's in C tier. Happy now? Alright, I might have to take back everything I just said, considering we just got to Cocoa Bird. Sadly, this plush they made for April Fools is the only thing we have from this guy, so it'll just have to do. If you didn't figure this out yet, this is Conan O'Brien in bird form. It may clearly be a modified Matilda plush, but I don't care. I love him. So much personality in just one simple image, I can't get over this guy. A tier, obviously. I genuinely don't think anyone is prepared for this one. After this, I'm going to rank Mighty Eagle, and then that's it. We have the two most important Angry Birds back to back here, so take notes, people. I present to you the one and only Obama Bird. What more can I say? Now that you've witnessed perfection, your life can't go back to the way it once was. I don't even want to show you this other image of Obama family as Angry Birds, but I have to just so you can understand the flaws in it. There's only one Obama Bird in my heart, and you're looking at him. Weep, knowing that you will never have the experience of seeing Obama Bird for the first time again. Sob, understanding that you cannot be Obama Bird, and cry, discovering that Obama Bird is not real and cannot be your friend. This is a burden we all must bear now, but we can bear it together. We've peaked, this is S tier. Let's salute him as we sadly move on to our last entry. I specifically saved the Mighty Eagle to end on because I wanted to end with something iconic and awesome. He's the last main flock member to cover, and what a guy he is. He is by far the most powerful bird in the original game, and he just looks so cool. That huge beak, the tiny mischievous little eyes, that lovable beer belly of his, it's all amazing. Let's forget the version of him in the movie though, I know people love him too. And let's be happy together as we put this actually cool bird in S tier.
Oh, that's it!
We did it! As I mentioned earlier, if you guys enjoyed this, there could be so many more episodes where we go through the rest. I think you probably underestimate the amount of birds that exist in this universe. There could be a whole Star Wars themed video, that's how many ones are in just that one game. And don't worry, some fun ones like Birdie Pie are left to cover in the future too. I'd absolutely love to keep going, so please support this video and let me know if you want a part 2. Also, let me know who I should cover in part 2. Should we get Star Wars done with, or should it be a mismatch of series like this video was? And if you have any other ideas for ranking videos you'd want to see, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to be silly but give honest answers for the main cast as best I could. Let me know how you would rank these guys. Alright, thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Goodbye. Oh, nothing. Just 3 snot bombs? Wait, what? Oh, nothing. Just 3 snot bombs? 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 To all of you who said, oh, you forgot Angry Birds Stella, or Jake, you stupid little guy, what about Angry Birds Rio? And especially everyone demanding I rank Icebird, well, guess what, people? Today I forget no longer. This is ranking every Angry Birds bird, part 2. The first one covered the classic flock, seasons, and a few of the others. Today, we rank Angry Bird Space with Icebird, Super Red, Lightning Birds, Laser Bird, Space Bomb, Monster Bird, Cosmic Bubbles, Space Eagle, Space Egg, Slash, Mighty Buzzard, Toucan Sam, and Skunk Bird. Then we move to Angry Birds Rio with Blue, Jewel, Raphael, Louise, Nico, Pedro, Nigel, Caged Birds, Caged Dolphin, and Felipe. Then we're going to do Angry Birds Stella with Poppy, Luca, Willow, Dahlia, and Gale. And then we will finish out with a group of weirdos like last time, which includes Danny DeVito Bird, Sonam Kapoor Bird, Matt Damon Bird, and Smurfs. And just for all of you who requested it, why don't we wrap up with Piggy McCool? As mentioned before, we are merely scratching the surface of birds in this franchise, so as long as you guys are still enjoying the series, I'm more than happy to keep making it. I'm going to rank these birds on a clean, fresh tier list and then bash the two together when we're done today. That's all the introduction I wanted to do, so let's find out which of these birds deserve tons and tons of riches, and which ones shall be burned with all their fellow left-handed witches. People are going nuts over Icebird, so I figured we might as well start with him. He might be one of the most memorable characters from the spin-offs, but I don't really get why. I've never liked his power. Unless I'm using him right before the blues, I'm not too happy. Every bird got a super OP power in the game, so it was sad to see Icebird over here just making things a little icy. But still, despite his weak power, in my opinion at least, this guy's just way past cool. He is an actual alien who has the appearance of an ice cube and a cute little tuft of ice hair at the top. He is by far one of the coolest birds considering the ice and everything, who generally feels like he should have become part of the flock. Did you know he was planned to be in Angry Birds Go? Or that he shows up in Boba's delivery short? Imagine him being added as an extra bird in Angry Birds 2. I would love that so much. I know you all think he's S, and I really like him too, so let's do it. The rest of the space variants are gonna have a hard time topping Icebird, so let's see. The first one is Super Red, who looks virtually the same other than the sleek black visor they gave him, and apparently making his feathers spiky is futuristic or something? Yeah, that's called being lame, dude. Now for his power. I'd like you to watch this clip very closely. Did you see it? Let's watch again. Right there! He vibrates a little bit when you tap. How awesome is that? Oh, it's not? You're telling me that the only thing that makes Red super is his spiky hair and ability to vibrate on command? If you ask me, you're kinda pushing your luck, Scoob. C tier. So the Lightning Birds had the exact same power that the Blues already had. According to the wiki, when they hit a surface there's an electric shock, but it does not actually do anything and is merely for show. Off to a great start, huh? I also think they have the most boring new look out of the flock, almost looking like some fans of the Flash at Comic-Con or something. Sorry guys, but you're gonna be our first D tier. Laserbird gives you the most control we'd seen so far in these games, since you tap to make him go exactly where you want him to. Plus he's purple now, which is really awesome. The visor is so cool, his little lightning tuft of hair is so cool, he's so cool! This is what regular Chug wishes he could be like. Not only is his power awesome, but his design is too. Gotta be S tier. While Bomb doesn't change powers at all in his new space form, he looks pretty dang cool. The orange colors are a nice contrast, and his extra flamey head is just badass. If he had a cool new power as well, I'd be happy to put him in S. Sadly, he's gonna have to go in A tier. Now Monster Bird is what I've been waiting for. He's a mean green killing machine. Like, he'd actually steal your girl and get away with it. I might be a little biased about this one since I had the plushie of him as a kid rather than the regular Terrence. Still, I don't think he can be S considering his power is just being a beefcake and also that he's just green now. This Jolly Green Giant can go into A tier for all I care. Cosmic Bubbles was not in the original game but was added to the flock later on. I really wish we would have seen more birds get a space form, and it's pretty crazy we never got some like Hal, Matilda, or Stella. I'm sure I can find some DeviantArt gold of those though. It's also weird that there aren't any female characters in this game. Enough about sexism though, let's talk about Bubbles. I know my inflation-loving homies have been waiting with bated breath since the last time we talked about him. I really think he has a cute costume and it especially looks fun when he's inflated. However, they totally nerfed his power to the point where he doesn't even bump into anything when he deflates. He's cute, I love me some good inflation, but he sadly has to go in B tier. Just when you thought the Mighty Eagle couldn't get any cooler, we got the Space Eagle! He's kind of just like a darker, edgier version of the regular one, but this time he zooms forward at the camera rather than horizontally, which makes sense for this game's gameplay. While I do think he's kinda cooler, I think an actual evolution of his design could have looked awesome rather than just being a little purple. I'm thinking A tier. While I kinda dogged on the basic looking eggs in the first list, the space egg kinda deserves a spot this time around. It is playable with a unique power and everything. The egg will pull the objects around it towards it, which can be pretty good, but usually more frustrating than anything. Plus the design isn't anything too crazy either, just a little antenna and that's it. I like it better than the regular egg though, so I guess it's a C tier. Okay, you can have any celebrity as a bird in this game. Who should it be? Don't worry, I know exactly who you're thinking. Slash! Right? You were thinking Slash. You weren't thinking Slash? Freak you! Despite not caring about him whatsoever, he does look pretty awesome as a bird. He even made a unique theme for the game, which is pretty cool too. While Slash might not have been the bird you wanted, he's the bird you deserve. A tier. Just when you thought the Mighty Eagle couldn't get any cooler, we got the Mighty Buzzard! Wait a second. What the actual freak is on my screen right now? When I asked for a spacified version of the Mighty Eagle, this is not what I meant! Get this pedo out of here! Okay, maybe I should be nice. This is supposed to look like Buzz Aldrin. I don't know, maybe they should have went with Buzz Lightyear instead. This is just kind of uncanny. You somehow ruined the Mighty Eagle. I think it's gotta be D tier. Dude! Toucan Sam! An actual mascot outside of the Angry Birds franchise that's actually a bird. Maybe this guy inspired the movie designs. Either way, it's kinda crazy he only ever appeared in Angry Birds Space. Weirdly, this is yet another Mighty Eagle clone, but it looks a lot weirder to have Toucan Sam's smiling face demolish a bunch of pigs. I gotta give them props for including an actual bird, but I'm probably gonna have to follow my nose on this one. B tier. I'm not sure if any of you are ready for this one. Feast your eyes on Skunk Bird. That's right, if you played Angry Birds Space, I bet you never got to the secret level with Skunk Bird. Mostly because, well, it doesn't exist. This was an April Fool's joke, which apparently some people were tricked into thinking this was Matilda's space form? That would have been like really cruel actually. Still, it makes me sad this isn't real. This guy has more potential than most of the regular birds and could have been another newcomer like Icebird. I love you, Skunkbird. And you better too. He'll find you. Don't underestimate this guy. Anyway, C tier. It's time for the crossover of the century. Angry Birds Rio! Blue is the first one to rank, but it's honestly a little difficult to do so. He comes in many forms with different powers and everything. Let's start with his more Angry Birdified form that doesn't appear in the game but they used for his plush form. Honestly, I much prefer this look, and find it weird these birds were left as just actual birds alongside the flock. In game, he starts out chained up to Jewel, where he doesn't really do anything, so we'll save that for when we talk about Jewel. On his own, as soon as he bumps into something, he freaks out, knocking over stuff in the process. He even has a unique power in the Rio 2 levels, but I think I've gone on long enough here. I like you, Blue. I appreciate that you've got some unique powers, but you stand out like a sore thumb amongst the Angry Birds. I'm gonna say B tier. Jewel also got an Angry Birds form, although this one's a little more difficult to look at. She definitely looks best in her normal form. As for her powers, they kinda did her dirty, as she's only able to be used when she's chained to Blue. Enough about sexism though, this has the opposite of Silver or Tony's power, where she flies horizontally until running into something. This power has a lot of potential, but sadly felt underused in the game. Like I said, she really should have gotten a chance to be her own character like Blue did. But I definitely like Jewel and her potential more, but she got underused, so she will go and be with Blue. So now we rank Raphael, a character who showed up in a single cutscene of the game. He also got an Angry Birds form, although this one is considerably worse than how he normally looks. I'm impartial to the other toucans like Hal and Toucan Sam, so this guy isn't doing anything for me. D tier. Thankfully, Louise the Bulldog actually does something in this game. Other than just kinda looking cool, he runs back and forth on a level in the game popping beach balls at any enemies that come near him. He's kind of a cute, dopey little guy, and I'm very thankful they didn't attempt to hack off his limbs for an Angry Birds form this time around. Just one last important thing though, he's not a bird, D tier. The next two characters are kind of funny considering neither actually show up in the game. Despite this, they both got a plush version of themselves in an Angry Birds form. Nico works pretty well with his bottle cap hat. He kinda do be styling a little bit. Can't go higher than C though. Pedro's the other half of the duo, who looks a lot lamer in his bird form. I feel like they just did a way worse job capturing him than they did with Nico. He's gotta go in D then. I almost forgot to include Nigel since he isn't categorized as an ally of the birds. He's definitely a bird though, so it would be weird to not include him with the others. Nigel makes for some really cool boss fights, and I generally find him to be a bit menacing. Let's not talk about his Angry Birds form though. I really enjoy the boss fights against him, and I love the design he has. I'm gonna say S tier. Something I really love about Angry Birds Rio was the different quote-unquote enemies for the series. The pigs are completely replaced by cage birds and marmosets. It totally makes sense for the narrative, and I wish we saw it more in the other entries in the series. Either way, I'm going to group all of the cage birds into one spot, rather than going through like 10 birds that have different colors and are slightly more sad looking than the others. What's even more strange is these guys look more like Angry Birds than Blue or Jewel, which keeps the trend of flip-flopping the way birds look in this game. Can you make up your freaking mind already? Sorry, we're almost through with Rio. All I have to say is these guys are pretty cute, they're a nice change of pace from the normal enemies, and they're going in B tier. Dolphins? Finally! Everyone knows that the superior form of bird is the dolphin. Birds can't breathe underwater, so obviously dolphins are here to take their place in the water levels. Honestly, if we could have seen some river dolphins, this would be S tier. Those freaks of nature terrify me, yet I can't help but want to know more. So because of that, these guys go in A tier. Who the freak is Felipe? When all the wiki has is one screenshot from the game of the most basic cookie cutter tropical bird I've ever seen, you know this has no right even appearing on this list. So bye bye little freaking birdie, go in D. Get in there. Finally, we are out of Rio and into some really awesome additions to the flock from Angry Birds Stella. As I said in my Angry Birds games ranking video, I really love Stella, and part of that reason was the brand new cast of birds with insane powers. I would not be surprised if all these guys fill up the top two tiers. The first new one is Poppy, since we obviously have already covered Stella. Poppy is what Silver dreamed she could be. The ability to drill down through any material is pretty amazing. Not to mention, she's the cooler yellow bird in my opinion. I definitely like a couple of the other birds better than her though, so I'm thinking B tier. Luke is the little baby of the group. He's the woo bird, but way better than them cause he screams and destroys all the grass in his way. No, not grass. Never mind. Freak off. Never mind. Freak off. You guys are always making fun of the way I talk. One of these days I'm gonna scream like Wuka does, and then you'll be sorry. Wuka's the weakest bird of the game and deserves a CTO. Nobody touched my GF Willow. She's maybe one of the most powerful birds of all time. Not only can she be aimed in any direction you want, but she spins through structures like they're nothing. And honestly, the hat and hair combo is really fun. She may look like just another bluebird, but she's not. She's not like all the other bluebirds. She's special, okay? C tier. No, what's S tier? S tier. I meant S tier. Dahlia also has a pretty insane power. Teleportation. And that's not all. She also gets to decimate anything standing in her way once she reappears. I love this power, and she probably has one of my favorite designs of the game. The orange just works really well, I don't know. Gotta be S2. Gale is one of my favorite concepts for a bird, as she's kind of the queen of the pigs in this game. We also never saw another purple bird after this point. I said, never saw another one. Still, I didn't really realize she was playable until now. Maybe I just forgot, but either way, her power seems super bland compared to every other character. All you do is paint a line over a structure, and she flies through it. Considering every other bird's power is leagues better than this, it just feels underwhelming. I really like her design and character though, so she gets an A tier. And now we go balls to the walls, baby. Danny DeVito Bird! If you hadn't already seen Obama Bird, I'd be kneeling and praying to my new god here. Can I offer you an egg in these trying times? No? Well, how about an S tier instead? And then we have Sonam Kapoor Bird. Look, I'm sure you're great and all, but I don't actually know who this is. All I've seen is she's a pretty famous Indian actress. She's kinda hot as an Angry Bird, not gonna lie, so why not? A tier. Get this off my screen! Who the freak let Matt Damon Bird in here? If Danny DeVito Bird is a god, then Matt Damon Bird is the Antichrist. Matt Demon Bird, if you will. I thought Chuck was the worst yellow bird, but that award can gladly be given to Matt Demon Bird. D tier, obviously. And now we have Smurfs. Not a Smurf, not even the Smurfs, just Smurfs. This is just kinda sad, honestly. Imagine if all the caged birds in Rio were just Smurfs instead. What's weird is he's not even that upset about being caged up, he just looks bored. I'd also love to see an Angry Birds form of a Smurf, where it's just their head and a beak or something. Anyways, if this was Smurfette in a cage, you might pique my interest, but otherwise this is just weird. D tier. This is it. I saved a highly requested character for last, and that's none other than Piggy McCool. What I don't get is, how do people know his name? Wait a second, this guy showed up in Epic? Oh no, I totally sounded super confident about Sonic being the only one. What the freak? I guess I have to take responsibility. I, Jake Miller, humbly apologize for being wrong about the amount of playable characters from Angry Birds Epic. I believe that Sonic was the only addition, yet I cannot deny the facts. Not everyone is perfect, you know. Some people like Angry Birds Epic, other people think Chuck is cool. We're all flawed, really. So I stand here before you all today, diaper in hand, ready to rank none other than Piggy McCool. I hope you all accept my apology. And accept the fact that Piggy McCool is not a bird. D tier. We've once again finished the list. Looks nice, right? Wham! Put them together. Look at that S tier, not looking so hot, huh? Also, this guy said I was a hypocrite for ranking Penguin too low, and you know what? I took that personally, so here he is in B tier where he belongs. If I'm ever a hypocrite, just let me know and I'll fix my mistake. I want to hear your thoughts on all these birds, so please join my Discord so we can talk about it. Maybe we can talk a little about Sasha Lynx too. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. I was blown away by the immediate success of the first list, so I'm really hoping we can keep this one going. I also think I'll make a poll for the next iteration. I'm torn between covering the Star Wars games next, or switching up and ranking the bad piggies. Let me know what you'd want to see first. Before that though, I've got a little Angry Birds endeavor I'd like to take you all on first. Stay tuned. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you soon. Goodbye. Okay, everyone's still listening right now? Go to the comments and type, "You forgot Stinky Steve," okay? Everyone's gonna be like, "I've never heard of Stinky Steve," and we're gonna make Stinky Steve a real Angry Birds character. I can't wait to see all you Stinky Stevers in the comments. This is gonna be freaking sweet. I think it's safe to say that Angry Birds Star Wars was the best and coolest crossover ever. I didn't give a crap about Star Wars, but all of a sudden this game came out, and I was sitting there watching the prequels. On paper, these two titles have almost nothing in common, but playing through the game makes you realize just how fun it's going to be. Following the story of the movies, even seeing the Jedi and the Sith point of view in the sequel, it's incredible. But my absolute favorite part is seeing each of my favorite characters as an Angry Bird. There's a lot of birdified Jedi out there, and some are combinations like Stella and Leia, and others are brand new like freaking Yoda Bird. So of course, in our long journey to rank every Angry Bird's bird, we're going to look at every bird that ever existed in this franchise, including some I couldn't even find on the wiki. Exciting stuff today. I absolutely hate the weird way they combine the birds' names with the Star Wars characters' names, but at the same time it's going to be way funnier to hear me say this crap. Don't worry, I'm going to call them all by their Star Wars names after this, but first, today we'll be ranking Red Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kaboomy, Chuck Ham Solo, Blue Squadron, Terabaka, C-3PO, R2 Egg 2, Princess Stella Organa, Lando Birdissian, Yoda Bird, Mighty Millennium Falcon, Muftak, Nien Nun, Jawa Bird, Gungan, Plo Koon, Ki Adimundi, Yafar, Yellow and Red Security Officers, Captain Security Bird, Spies, Qui-Gon Jinn, Redkin Skywalker, Pekmi Amidala, Moa Windu, Jar Jar Wings, Jedi Younglings, Captain Panaka, Kit Fisto, Wicket the Ewok, Ham Solo, Frozen in Carbonite, Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, Zeb Orrelios, Harrison Dilla, Sabine Wren, and Chopper. God, these don't even make sense. Like R2 Egg 2? Moa Windu? Jesus. Without further ado, let's find out which of these birds are the ultimate Jedi and which ones would be better off as some dead guy. Of course, we have to start with Luke Skywalker, the Star Wars bird with the most different forms. We got Pilot Luke, Endor Luke, Jedi Luke, and most importantly, normal Luke, the normal one. He probably has the most straightforward power as well, simply swinging his lightsaber. I'm sure Red appreciates getting any kind of power, even if it's not as cool as using the Force. While they definitely nailed the look of him, his power isn't anything too exciting and neither is he. His luscious locks aren't quite luscious enough to entice me. Nice try, Luke! Out of all the Star Wars birds, he is the most middle-of-the-road, B tier. Obi-Wan has two different forms, his young and old version. Talk about luscious locks. And while others like Anakin had completely different powers, these two shared the same one.
Let's just say that the Force is with this one.
Although he canonically dies in Episode 4, thankfully he continues to appear throughout the first game. Having the abilities to use the Force as an Angry Bird is so much fun, and launching blocks across the screen always feels awesome. Plus, I already love bombs, so they won me over a while ago. Still, he's just not S tier for me. His design is great and his power is fun, but I prefer others way more than him on this list. Don't worry buddy, you can still have a solid A tier. Well, Chuck is voiced by Tom Kenny aka SpongeBob, so already you're off to a great start. Chuck and Han Solo are pretty much the same character already, so of course they got combined here. For the first time in Angry Birds history, Chuck did not have a power tied to his speed. Well, unless you count him shooting Greedo first. He's a basic little gun boy with 3 straight shots. Lasers in this game bounce off of metal, so he's used a lot for puzzle levels. He has the most basic and boring power from the original game, other than maybe the blues. We will see Chuck again later on, so for now we'll stick Han Solo and B with Luke. Like I said, it feels like they wanted to have the blues here, but really didn't know how to have them here. They're virtually nameless characters known as the Blue Squadron, although I guess they are based on some named pilots like Wedge Antilles. They also get the same freaking power as always, just splitting up into 3. In a game where they could have flown an X-Wing, or each had little guns, or just threw their helmets at the pigs, or just something, instead they got the same old power. I already don't care for the blues. They got done dirty, and they're going in D tier. I mean, come on. Not only is this a more perfect mashup than Chuck and Han Solo, but it's 2 fan-favorite characters combining into the most awesome design ever. Seeing Terrence as Chewbacca, doing the Chewbacca roar, is one of the best things to come out of this crossover. If Terrence just became Chewbacca at this point in the series, I don't think anyone would have complained. I will say his power doesn't change much, his roar just pushes things as he collides with them, but it just doesn't matter. One of the easiest S tiers ever. I'm pretty sure they decided they wanted C-3PO to be just as annoying as ever. His power is to break into pieces, which on paper sounds like a better version of the blues or something, but in reality, it's the weakest, most useless crap I've ever had the displeasure of dealing with. And in the sequel, they somehow managed to make him worse, which, I mean, congratulations, I guess. Thankfully, he is relegated to bonus levels only, so you never have to deal with him ruining your chances in the main game. There's actually one level in Star Wars 2 that is super satisfying to use him in, but otherwise all of his parts just clutter into one spot, making it impossible to break any blocks. He has a silver version as well, which is so similar I refuse to rank it separately. It splits into 4 pieces rather than 6. Revolutionary, I know. The pieces are a bit heftier, so they deal more damage, which makes him better in my eyes. I'll never stop being annoyed by him though, which sucks because Matilla's makeover here is really well done. C-3PO just looks perfect. This droid's a D tier. R2-D2, R2 Egg 2, my bad, is also strictly in bonus levels. His power is a little more enjoyable than C-3PO's. He gets to lightning strike all the pigs within range of him. It is nice to guarantee a pig as long as you are near it, but he just cannot break blocks. He's a nice one to end with, finishing up with the last couple pigs, but otherwise I just get annoyed too. I gotta say, his design is fun, since it's literally R2 but with an egg for a body. According to the character encyclopedia, they look harmless but hide the egg, which contains the Force. It does what? I feel like that's a huge deal that could stop this war they keep talking about. R2, you could make Star peace! You could make Star friends! Star love! But oh no, the key to everyone's problem is in the stupid egg that hangs out with C-3PO exclusively. That's just crazy. Anyways, R2 is fine, but not great. C tier. Everybody, stop! My daily time to admire Stella in a bathing suit and Stella in a Princess Leia slave outfit is right now! Now shut up and let me admire! Man, I can't freaking wait for tomorrow so I can admire Stella in a bathing suit and Stella in the Princess Leia slave outfit again. While we wait, we might as well talk about her. Stella's had a very diverse set of powers and her appearances, and this one is no exception. She can grab anything she wants, as long as it's in her line of sight, and pull it towards her. This has a ton of uses and can be pretty strong at times. She looks great, her power is cool, she's pretty... pretty good. Anyways, A tier. And then, Chuck did blackface. Look, that's not a joke. I'm not trying to make light of anything, that's just straight up what happened. To be fair, he is a bird, so his race doesn't really matter, but I've still always felt weird about the choice. Regardless, it was pretty cool to have Lando be playable here. If only Nien Nunb could have had the same treatment. His power is an evolution of Chuck's with a little spread shot action. It's virtually a better version of Chuck, which makes sense. I don't really know what power Lando would have had otherwise. He's alright. I'm more entertained by looking at this plush version more than anything. I'll say B tier. Yoda, bird. Yoda, bird. Yoda, bird. Yoda, bird. Move over, baby Yoda. It's bird time, baby. Yoda. Trust me, I contemplated doing this part in Yoda speak exclusively, but sometimes I draw the line at how cringy my videos can get. I love being cringy, but that's just on another level. Yoda Bird appears in the first game, but he's old and dying, so they didn't force him to get launched by the slingshot. In the sequel, he has a brand new power, bouncing around like crazy. This sounds awesome, but in reality it's really hard to do well with. Most levels he's in are going to take countless tries because of how random it can be. Plus, other characters like Kit Fisto have a better version of the same power, so it's hard to like this one. I do love the design though. As a kid, I always imagined he was Hal, but the beak is clearly way too small. Seems like a missed opportunity, but it is also fun to see him as its own thing. He fits right in next to Obama Bird, honestly. Hashtag Yoda is my president. Hashtag A tier. The last playable character in the first game is the Mighty Millennium Falcon. You can't even be mad at this, it has Falcon in the name! Still, compared to Mighty Eagle, this is a super frustrating power-up. You are not guaranteed to kill every pig, so even using this as a last-ditch effort isn't always worth it. Thankfully, you keep the other birds to take out any remaining pigs, but that's still a pretty big deal. The lasers it shoots will destroy anything it touches, but man, those things can be so unhelpful at times. The Millennium Falcon also looks like a freaking kid's toy now. Some little toddler is sitting there sucking on the slingshot while I try to get one of the stupid lasers to hit. I really do not like it, but it isn't the worst. C tier. In preparation for this video, I scoured the internet trying to find literally every bird that appeared in Angry Birds Star Wars. While watching the cinematic trailer, I came across this guy. He's not on the wiki, and I don't know who he's supposed to be, so I made a post asking you guys. And that's how I found out you're all a bunch of Star Wars nerds! Sure, yeah, you helped me find him in my time of need, but jeez, you guys knew the name and species of this thing? Man, I could never look at my audience again. I guess I don't have to explain who this is, because clearly everyone subscribed to me already knows, but I'm doing it anyways! This is Muftak. He's got 4 eyes, and he's from Star Wars. He's a regular at Mos Eisley, so that's why he's in the trailer. It's funny that other than Laserbird's cameo, he is the only bird in that cantina that isn't a main character. Since we only have his design to rank him off of, I gotta say I love this guy. He looks awesome, and I really wish he appeared in the game. Can't say he's S-worthy, but he made for a great story, and I'm happy to have discovered him. A tier. Nien Nunb showed up in a couple cutscenes in the last chapter of the story. He's a fun co-pilot, but birdified Niandan is pretty dang cursed. It's like a hairless cat made with a turkey and made this freak of nature. Sorry to all the Niandan heads out there, but this is just D tier. The Jawas were sadly never playable, but you were able to slaughter them on the pork side, so that's freaking sweet. They're kind of the shy guys of the series. I just want to know what they look like under that hood. Let's be honest though, they're probably just the hatchlings from the movie. I hate you, hatchlings! Jawas are cute though. B tier. I freaking love Gungans. Sure, I've dunked on the prequels in the past, but George Lucas is a certified genius because he thought of Gungans. However, Angry Birds has pissed me off for the last time! We hardly get any funny Gungis to look at. Where are all the Gungis at, bro? Thankfully, there's a couple of Gungos to go through. One of them is Nas, who's got a lot of sass and sucks my ass, and then there's some generic Gungans you get to murder relentlessly like the Jawas. That picture of Nas actually pisses me off. That doesn't even look like him, but the regular Gunnigans are great. I will never forgive you for not having more Gungos, so they go and see. I know there are people out there that love Plo Koon. Don't act like you don't. But he's just weird as an Angry Bird. Well, no, he's always weird, let's be fair. But I don't want to see him like this. Muftak is cute, he's awesome. Not you, Plo Koon. Not you. D tier. Alright guys, new profile pic. What do you think? Yeah, moving forward, I'll be using this on all my social media. I don't know why, I just relate to this guy. It's honestly really forehead. Fortunate that I found this. Sorry, I don't mean that. It's more of a 5 head to be fair. Also, don't make this guy a silhouette. That's really unfortunate looking. Me and Kiadi Mundi share a lot of similarities, but he looks like penis, so C tier. Okay, I know all of you have Star Wars shrines in your houses, but you do not know who Yafar is. Stop lying. You cannot know this. I watch Star Wars Rebels and even I don't freaking recognize this freak. He's so unremarkable, he ended up being scrapped from the game. He's in the files, but he never made it through. Somehow he looks the most bird-like than any dang bird in this franchise, despite him originally looking like this. It's a cool design though, and definitely an improvement. C tier. Just for the sake of ranking everything, we have to include these generic security officer enemies. There's a red and yellow variant that may make me hungry for ketchup and mustard, but makes me oh so happy to ruthlessly decimate in-game. Obviously these go in D tier. Oh boy, here we go. You just had to be different, didn't you? We just had to have 3 security officers. I am gonna scream, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna piss my pants maybe, but most importantly I'm gonna put the sorry excuse down in D tier. Honestly, these spies are a pretty cute enemy in the Rebels levels, especially alongside these Rhodians. This is the first time I feel bad for killing them. Gonna do it anyways. Not like I'm not gonna take the chance to pop some birds, am I right? You're not gonna not kill birds if you get the opportunity, right? This is a fun enemy type though. How about B tier? Sigh. Poor Qui-Gon Jinn. I finally understand why you have Gon in your name now. It's rare to see an Angry Bird canonically die, but Qui-Gon gets that honor. I also like how he looks quite a bit. It's kind of based on Matilda, but really he's super unique. I like how a lot of the characters in Star Wars 2 look, and he is no exception. As for his power, he is the first bird you get, so obviously he takes the spot of Luke. While the power is nothing special, I love him a lot. He can go in B too. Not a lot of characters are going to get separated like young Anakin here. I originally planned to just do every version of Anakin in one slot, but his power is so different that it would be weird to do that. Pod racing is the classic meme tied to young Anakin, so of course he gets to do it in this game. It's really awesome power, letting you go wherever you want in a level as long as there's nothing in the way. Anakin also gets dragged through whatever crap he can bypass. It's awesome. Young Anakin has a fun power. I like it. A tier. Wow, you're so edgy, Anakin. You're so cool and hot and deep and cool, and I just love you, Anakin. If that's you, if you say that, unsubscribe. Just kidding, don't unsub. Oh my god, please, I didn't mean it. I love you. All grown-up Anakin is pretty boring. He just reverts back to a lightsaber swinging loser. So instead, I thought we'd take the spot to talk about telepods. I had the Anakin telepod, as well as a ton more as you can see. I honestly forgot how many of these I had. It's pretty insane actually. The birds are pretty cool, especially that Ewok. But man, the pigs are so much better. I am really looking forward to ranking the Star Wars pigs, because ones like Jabba and Grievous are just incredible. Did you guys have telepods? And if you did, which ones? If you had Anakin like me, you'll know he's pretty freaking boring. D tier. Also, yes, I know he has a third form and it's Darth Vader. I know! But he just uses the Force. It's just Darth Vader's power. I'll talk about it when I do him, okay? Okay, good. I thought Leia was hot. They call her Peck Me Amidala, huh? I wish she'd peck me. Padme has a really strange power. It's basically the opposite of Leia's. She pushes objects with her beam rather than pulling them. I find the pull to be much more useful, but there are situations where this works. No matter how freaking hot and attractive and beautiful and attractive she is, I can't go higher than a B tier. Bald, 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 bald. Sorry, I mean bald. I mean, Mace Windu is already one of my favorite Star Wars characters. Maybe it's because he has a purple lightsaber, you know, just maybe. But regardless, he also has one of the best and overpowered moves in the whole game. This crazy boomerang lightsaber destroys everything in its path and is helpful in almost any scenario. It's also just super fun to use. I love Bald and I love Mace Windu. S tier.
What? Those Empire bastards stole our eggs? Our eggs?
I absolutely refuse to do a stupid Yoda voice. But Misa loved Jar Jar Binks! Misa not only loves his design, but Misa really loves his power. There are so many fun and crazy tricks he can pull off with his grappling hook tongue that Misa just can't get enough of. Watch this! Check this crazy shisha out. Misa already loved Gungaros, so obviously Misa loved Jar Jar Binks. Excuse me! Move out of the way, Mace! S Tirza needs to save the room for Jar Jar Binks. As always, the Blues had no change to their power. However, they are way stronger than before and can even break through wood pretty well. They're also massive compared to normal Blues, which really makes them be effective here. They show up in so few levels of this game. I guess Anakin killed all the freaking younglings before he could use them in battle. Still, they're one of the better versions of the Blues, so they go in B. They've clearly learned the lesson from Chuck being Lando because Captain Panaka is a completely unique bird. Funny enough, he shoots a triple shot just like Lando. His design is fine and his power is fine, so yeah, pretty easy B tier right there. Does anyone else irrationally love Kit Fisto? Like, I've always thought he was cool despite knowing very little about him. I want you to Kit Fisto me! Actually, no, I really don't. Why did I say that? Well, not only is he one of the coolest looking birds in the game, but he's just an upgraded Yoda. He destroys everything he touches, kind of like Willow from Angry Birds Stella. Kit Fisto also barely shows up in any levels, which sucks, but it's reasonable considering he's just too good. I love you, buddy. S tier. There's a few bonus characters that you can only get in the shop or at telepods. Wicked the Ewok somehow got a spot, and I'm so proud of him for it. He's got the Blues power, but there's 9 of him instead of 3. They're all pretty weak, but you can really get a huge spread on big levels that can come in handy. Plus their design is surprisingly really cute. I like them a lot. A tier. Again, I debated including Carbonite Han Solo. It isn't a different bird, but he has a completely unique power. Plus he got his own telepod, so come on, it's only fair. He's stolen Iceberg's gimmick. How dare you! Is this why Icebird isn't here anymore? That's it. I'll kill you! I'll freaking kill you! He's nearly useless in this game, since you don't get to follow him up with the Blues ever. He also never goes away, which means he could slide right where you want him to, or just immediately become useless. You tried, but you made the most pointless power-up ever. And you messed with Icebird, D tier. Well, we're at the last leg of the list for today. The final update Star Wars 2 ever got was a Star Wars Rebels update. Not Clone Wars, not Rogue One, just the hit Disney XD show Rebels. Mostly because it was coming out at the right time. And I did watch Rebels as a kid. I don't remember it very well, but I did watch it. Somehow they decided to add 6 birds in this update, which is pretty huge considering the roster size. Not to mention that 3 of them were only available in the shop, which is really dumb and annoying. Regardless, the first bird is the main character Ezra. Never cared for him in the show, and I don't like him here either. They each got some crazy new powers, and Ezra gets his laser that reflects off of any metal it touches forever. It's an interesting idea for sure, but it's not as useful as it sounds. C tier. Based on their personalities in the show, I feel like Kanan is more of a Red, and Ezra is more of a Chuck. But Kanan's move is to go faster than the speed of sound. It's a pretty insane power to have, like check out this boss level I can wipe out in one hit. It's easy to mess up, but can do some crazy damage otherwise. I don't really like how he looks though, so he's going in A. Definitely the coolest looking Rebels character is Zeb. Look at that guy, he's like a mix between Bomb, Terrence, and Big the Cat. And his powers reflect that. He has the strength of Terrence and a shockwave close to Bomb's explosions. It's a fun move, but as always, it's not as great as it sounds. I like him a lot though, so he's gotta be A tier. Hera is definitely the strangest one. She just places a minigun and leaves. Any pigs in sight get shot, but if there's even one little block in the way, that pig is safe. She hardly gets you any points as a result, but can be effective now and again. Still, what has Angry Birds come to when you launch a bird just to place a turret and then leave? I don't really like it. C tier. Sabine is one of my favorite Rebel characters. She's a Mandalorian, and we all know these are just the coolest characters every time. Her power is a lot like Stella's in her game, where you bounce from platform to platform, but here you only select the first jump, and she places bombs on each spot. What's annoying is if you don't press anything, she doesn't even place a bomb. That's dumb and annoying. Still, she looks pretty cool, and her power is pretty fun to play around with. I'm saying B tier. Finally, last and certainly least, is Chopper. If they never added Chopper, no one would have cared, truthfully. Of course though, he has the craziest power of them all. Don't you love getting jetpacks in games to just go anywhere? Yep, Chopper is best at going places you didn't even think were possible to go to. Not one level in this game was made for him in mind, so good luck finding a use for him. It's super fun to play around with, don't get me wrong, but in terms of usefulness, he isn't doing a thing. Sadly, we will end the list with a C tier. Well, I certainly haven't changed my mind. It was fun when Angry Birds was Transformers, I like seeing all the Rio birds, but no crossover will ever be as awesome as Angry Birds Star Wars. Seeing our favorite birds and Jedi combined was so much fun, and getting so many cool new powers and abilities was a blast. I always enjoyed just seeing how cool these guys look personally, and there's some really great designs as well. Star Wars is one of the last classic slingshot games too, which is sad. I think those crazy new powers show just how balls to the walls they are going here, but that's also because Star Wars 2 was super character based. Unlocking characters was an event in this game, and using telepods to try out characters in different scenarios is really fun too. I can't lie, some of these guys really make me mad. Those C-3PO levels are a nightmare to me, but I'll never forget you, Jar Jar. Misa love you, Jar Jar Binks. Sorry, excuse me. I know you guys love F tier. This list is going to be huge, so in the future I might just use F tier through the whole video. Today I thought we'd just end by converting the list here. You can see I've dispersed the old stuff and the new Star Wars stuff a bit, with the worst of the worst down at the bottom. That's right, I'm looking at you, Mighty Basketball. Let me know if you want me to just always include F tier or add it at the end like I did today. Thanks so much for watching. Let's talk about my rankings and our favorite Star Wars birds on my Discord. My members have been multiplying lately. Man, you guys are getting busy! So let's name off all the Jedi younglings we get to slaughter here at the end of the video. Yep, definitely gonna massacre Groth One Finger first, can't wait for that. And Cobalt Chrome E. Pfft, not even gonna put up a fight, I bet. Patrick Bayer-Jean? What is that, French? Oh, good riddance, am I right, people? Honomaki is a little intimidating, kinda mysterious. Might want to take them out before they get to me. Jacob BL? I'm a Jacob BLO your brains out, buddy. Then Deca Knight 9000. Oh dang, you's a knight? I'll still slaughter you. Just like Cool Cat Lord. It's an honor to slay any lord, I always say. Yeah, there's gonna be a bright streak of blood when I'm done with you. And we get to end on a nice and peaceful friend. I love killing peaceful innocent friends. Who doesn't? And while I was making this video, 2 more Jedi younglings were born. So let's welcome Manitos and MD Switchy into the world before we promptly remove them from this world, if you know what I mean. If you want to maybe get slaughtered like these younglings in the future, then please consider becoming a member. I know a lot of you were hoping to see me rank the pigs first, but guess what? Now that we've got this out of the way, the pigs get to be next. I can't wait, we get to oink, we get to roll around in the mud. Man, this is going to be awesome. When that video comes out, I want to see everyone in the comments saying, man, I love rolling around in the mud and oinking, and I can't wait to go back to rolling around in the mud and oinking. And then leaving like 30 separate comments that just say oink, or I'm a big pig, oink, 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 or I'm a big stinky pig and I love to oink, or I'm a big fat stinky ugly fat pig and I just want to oink, you know? Yeah, you guys get it. Anyways, I can't wait for that. There's a red and yellow variant that they... There's a red and yellow variant that may make me hungry for ketchup and mustard, but makes me oh so happy to ruthlessly... Oh my god. There's a red and yellow variant that may make me hungry for ketchup and mustard, but makes me oh so happy to ruthlessly decimate and... There's a red and yellow variant that may... There's a red and yellow variant that may make me want... There's a red and yellow variant that may make me hungry for ketchup and mustard, but makes me oh so happy to ruthlessly decimate... Oh my god. Ruthlessly decimate. Ruthlessly decimate. Ruthlessly decimate. There's a red and yellow variant that may make me hungry for ketchup and mustard, but makes me oh so happy to ruthlessly decimate in game. Obviously these go in D tier. Yes! Thank you, my god! Angry Birds has so many classic games that people still love to play to this day. Some of the classics are Seasons or Space, and even the spin-offs like Epic and Fight have their fans. But now we are on our 4th edition of trying to rank every Angry Birds bird, and we're all out of the good ones. But wait, these guys are funny! If you like seeing the most random, insane, unbelievable characters you haven't heard of before, then oh boy is this the video for you. But Well, we've gotten so deep into the birds that we now have to start ranking gulps again. The Angry Birds movie!
Oh my god.
I was hoping this day would never come. Today, I want to try something different, so instead of telling you all the characters in this video, I'm going to leave it as a little sneaky surprise. You don't know what to expect, unless you look at the timestamps, but don't, okay? Trust me, it's funnier this way. Without further ado, let's find out which of these insane batch of characters make it to the top, and which one should be ground up and sprinkled into the pig's daily slop. Our first character is Red. I could have swore we did this guy already. Wait a second. Why does he have legs? Oh no, it can't be. Angry Birds? For those who aren't familiar, on April 1st, 2015, Angry Birds released a trailer for their upcoming game, Angry Birds. It was like nothing we'd ever seen before. Who would have thought to put arms and legs on these guys? Clearly, this is a joke. And yeah, technically it was. Despite there being a bunch of concept art, a fully animated trailer that definitely took a lot of time and money, and of course, an employee at Rovio confirming this game was once in development. Yep, this could have existed, people. I think it's safe to say as a society, we weren't ready for Angry Birds, but somewhere out in the multiverse, Jake Miller is playing this game, has perfect vision, and is a famous musician with 687,000 subscribers. But we all know that could never happen. Anyways, we don't have a ton to go off of here other than their designs and personalities. Red looks as pissed off as I've ever seen him, and he literally punches an egg right out of a chicken. Let's not brush over the fact that a chicken coexists with the Angry Birds either. I have a lot of questions about the implications of that, but we should probably just rank Red. I really love how short he is. It's a really funny look for him. He's better than the original, I think. Let's put him in A tier. Chuck gets to be the old grandpa, smoking a pipe after a long day of fishing. He clearly would have been the character for the inevitable fishing minigame, but in the trailer we only get to see him console Stella after her rejection. He's really boring compared to everyone else though, so I'm saying D tier. One of my favorite parts of the trailer goes to the blues. If I get a game that combined Five Nights at Freddy's with the blues from Angry Birds, my life would be complete. I'd have gotten everything I'd ever wanted. It is crazy to me that the jump scare image actually exists. He has blood coming out of his mouth. That's some real gym shit right there. I love this interpretation of the blues so much. They're fresh out of the eggs and just absolutely insane. They're unpredictable. You never know what they're gonna do. Just like me, S tier. Bomb sadly doesn't get a spotlight in the trailer other than him lifting a weight. Bomb as a himbo bodybuilder is the perfect role for him, down to the jean shorts and everything. So yes, I like him, but he doesn't do anything to wow me. He's going in C. Matilda does get some action, holding a freaking shotgun and murdering moles in her garden. And potentially one of the blues if she isn't careful. I love that she isn't just a stereotypical farmer or something. She's more of a badass than ever before. Look at her freaking tattoos. This version of her is just so great. Not S, but a solid A tier. Stella kinda steals the show here, and it seems like she might have been the main character of the game. She works up the courage to confess her love to Gale. She sadly gets rejected, but the end of the trailer reveals that Gale was just caught off guard. They really do love each other, aww. Why the freak is Stella naked though? I think I like her design the least, as it's just her normal look but with crazy long arms and legs. It ain't bad, but looking at the others, it just leaves me wanting more, you know? She's a B tier for me. Now we move to Gale, her love interest. I'm unsure what role she would have played here, but it seems like she's initially a villain that falls in love with Stella and eventually helps to save the farm. She's rocking a sort of cowgirl look, and I can't lie, I'm into it. Compared to our next bird though, she couldn't possibly compare. I'll stick her in A with Red. Oh my dear God. Where do the legs end? They just keep going. I have never been more attracted to anybody in my entire life. What is more perfect than my favorite bird Hal, but with sexy legs? Guys, I need there to be another sex episode right freaking now. I literally pass out every time she starts swapping outfits and I'm getting lightheaded. Don't put on the goth outfit. Oh my god, she just put on the goth outfit. Sasha Lynx is my favorite character of all time. Not just from Angry Birds. Ever. I have never been more tempted to put another tier above S tier. I am so freaking tempted. Okay, she'll go in S. Just know she deserves so much more. And then we have Mighty Bagel. Literally the exact opposite of Sasha Lynx. First off, bagel? Alright, you put some cream cheese on this guy and I'll consider eating him. You might have never seen this before, but look at how jacked his freaking legs are. Man, him and Sasha Link should become leg models, holy hell. Mighty Bagel is definitely the funniest aspect of Angry Birds, and even though he's the villain, he is way too funny to not go in S tier. Let's move on to some Angry Birds Friends characters. We got the Wingman, Terrence's superpowered alter ego. He got to be powered up in 4 games, Angry Birds Friends, Seasons, Space, and Reloaded. And yes, he is green in space, and no, I ain't ranking him twice. Terrence basically is the saving grace of any level, so letting him be a power-up makes a ton of sense. Sure, he isn't stronger than Terrence or anything, but you can't deny he looks crazy awesome. I also love seeing them come up with the logo for him. He had so many different W's on that cranium of his before they landed on the one we know and love today. I already love Terrence, so obviously I love Wingman too. S tier. I've seen a lot of requests to rank the Hockey Bird, and yeah, he's pretty iconic, so let's do it. He was actually once part of the flock, but his dream was to play hockey. He left to become the official NHL mascot. For a while, he was kind of a big deal. He got multiple animated trailers and was playable in Friends. Just what was his power? Well, he replaced Chuck. Wait, he just replaced Chuck? That's it? God dang it, Hockey Bird, you hyped me up so much and then let me down. Still, he looks awesome. I ship him with Matilda. They could make beautiful white babies together. Let's pretend I never said that. A tier. In celebration of Freddy for a Day, Angry Birds made this incredible little short with Chuck as the Freddie Mercury bird. His crown is so cool that King Pig gets put to shame. He also got his own tournament in Friends, but weirdly he wasn't playable? I don't get it. Hockey Bird replaces Chuck for no reason, but Freddie Mercury, using Chuck's design, doesn't get to be Chuck in game. You're dumb, Rovio. You know that? You is a motherfucker, you know that? D tier. I'm on tonight, you know my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel it's right. Oh, hey guys. Sorry, I was just busy singing my favorite song, Hips Don't Lie. Yeah, I just feel like I really relate to it. My hips are extremely honest. Me and Shakira have a lot in common, actually. Let's see, we're both birds, we're both women. Wait, I'm not a bird, but Shakira is.
God damn! Get that shit out of my... Oh, God.
No, keep looking at it. Shakira had like a whole collaboration with Rovio there. Let's start off with the worst one, Angry Birds Friends. If you had to guess, just what could her power possibly be? Yeah, she's Chuck now. I hate you, Rovio. She's an F tier right now, buddy. You better start laying on the Southern Charm. She was scrapped from Angry Birds Rio. She would have replaced Stella this time, getting an orange bubble heart as her power. Lastly, she appeared in Angry Birds Pop. Thankfully, she got an exclusive power and set of levels here. Something redeeming, at least. Look, Shakira as a bird is more hot than I'd like to admit, but just remember, Shakira starred in her own game by Rovio called Love Rocks, and that game just has a PNG of a drawing of Shakira on it. I hate you now, Shakira. My hips are putting you in F tier. And Shakira Bird in B tier, because she's cute and I like her. Next up is Ian Sommerhalderbird? I don't even know how to say that. Who is this guy? Oh, get that off my screen now! Oh my god, I didn't think he could look worse than his bird form does. F tier, dude. No way. It can't be. I think that's Groth One Finger. No, wait, that's Cobalt Chrome E. Maybe Patrick Bayer-Jean? No, it's definitely Honomaki. It might be Decanite 9000 though. No, Bright Streak. It's Bright Streak. Kind of looks like MD Switchy though. But is it Kirby Fan Real 1992? No. It's Omegon. It's Omegon for sure. No way, it's obviously Daisy. Oh, I got it. It's Poop Fort the Second. Yep, definitely one of those people. Fine, you caught me. It's just Don Cheadlebird. Wait, Don Cheadlebird? We love Don Cheadlebird. I especially love using him as an emote on my Discord. Okay, thank you Don Cheadle for letting me use you to plug my members and Discord. You wouldn't happen to want to talk about my Patreon now, what? Okay, we took it too far. We made Don Cheadle mad, and you wouldn't like Don Cheadle when he's angry now, would you? He told me he wants to go in B tier, so we better listen to him.
Yeah, take that, piggy.
Our one new character in Angry Birds Go is none other than Senna Bird, based on the Formula 1 champion of the same name. If they use Chuck to represent a celebrity one more time, I'm gonna put every Chuck to ever exist in F tier. Don't freaking test me, Angry Birds. I ain't kidding. He was available until the 2.0 update where he was mysteriously removed. Otherwise, his power was to be a little faster than Chuck. Just incredible. As always, I'm really left wishing he was just a little unique, you know? Don Cheadle gets to be cool, but poor Cinnabird doesn't get anything. That means D tier to me. Joe is pretty much the only character that came into existence after my first video. I remember them teasing a brand new bird was coming on their social media, and I was super excited to see a new playable character in Angry Birds 2 or something. And then they finally revealed Joe. Now I think there are a lot of good things about Joe, but mostly bad things. Joe was made to have a non-binary Angry Birds character. That's just objectively great. But you know how big corporations make their logo rainbow colored during Pride Month? Yeah, that's basically Joe for you. This is a rare character that made their first appearance not in a game, but on freaking Twitter. Truthfully, the bird design is pretty nice, but man, did they just fall on their faces with the movie design. I just hate looking at this image, I don't know what else to say. Now, to be fair, Joe got to be a promotional power-up in Angry Birds 2, and that's nice, but seriously, a lot of people seem to hate Joe, and I'm inclined to agree. Representation is great, but actually do something with them, Rovio. Be brave, make them playable, and then players will love Joe. But make them a gimmick and show your true, ugly colors, and you get a bad rating. I'm gonna go C, just because we may see Joe get more attention in the future, but it's currently handled very poorly. Angry Birds Journey has quite possibly the strangest cast of new characters out of any Angry Birds game. Yep, even beating out Angry Birds. Guy is up first, and she's the ghost swan that hypnotized all these hatchlings. And she's a good guy, I guess? Honestly, I'm on her side. I hate you, hatchlings! I don't really know what purpose she serves outside of looking cool, but she also weirds me out a bit. C tier. Next up is Melissa Bird. Who the frick is Melissa? Well, after some diligent research, I now know that Melissa is a reality TV star on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Oh, so that's why she's a character in a mobile game for children. Wait, why is she a character in a mobile game made for children? Who came up with the idea to make a real housewife a bird in Angry Birds Journey? She's part of the event with the next character I don't want to spoil yet, and you voted on which was the best way to let off steam. Screaming or meditating? Of course children pick screaming. Children love screaming! This is quite possibly the dumbest bird to exist in this franchise, only rivaled by the next character on our list. D tier. Just who was pitted against Melissa Bird? Why, none other than Christine Bird, obviously. She's a reality TV star too, but she's on the show Selling Sunset. I heard my 2-year-old nephew talk about how much he loves Selling Sunset, so actually this is a match made in heaven. She lost the competition, but it's not her fault she was forced to root for meditation. Anyway, she has a diamond folding chair necklace. Does she have one in real life? I guess so. Is it as comically big in real life as in the game? Actually, yeah, it is. I hate Christine Bird, but I love her chair necklace, so B tier. Oh man, we're not really at the Angry Birds movie part of the video already, are we? If you hate the Angry Birds movie, please either stick around or skip to the end. I promise something really special is coming. But we gotta start working through the movie characters if we're really ranking everyone. I think Judge Peckinpah ended up having the biggest role out of the new characters, and he kind of acts as a foil to Red for the majority of the movie. He's also voiced by Keegan-Michael Key, so I already love him for that. And he's this cute little owl, and I love that too. He's got a little cameo in Journey, and well, that certainly, exists. But yeah, out of the newcomers, he's one of the best. A tier. On the other hand, we have Cyrus, who acts as a stepping stool for the judge, and his main character trait is sneezing. Incredible. And you wondered why I hate these birds. The only character that has any right to exclusively sneeze is the dwarf from Snow White. I mean, minor. No, not like an underage kid, like a person who minds. Look, I'm not having this argument with you right now. Cyrus is F tier, obviously. Oh, Brad, you're so dreamy. I hope one day he will be mine. Guys, remember when Brad thought the uncomfortably attractive female birds were inviting him to gangbang, but then Brad gives him brain damage instead? Easily one of the best parts of the movie. Don't forget when he made the DreamWorks face in his other scene. Easily one of the best parts of the movie. Face it guys, this movie probably would have sucked if Brad wasn't in it. Then again, he'd totally steal my girl and get away with it. Let's go with the safe B then. Say the line, mime.
Oh my god. Yeah!
I know a lot of people think the mime's only joke gets old quick, and I'd be inclined to agree, but this one instance makes the entire build-up worth it.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
That is undeniably one of the funniest parts of the second movie. You can't deny it. Admit it, you love mimes now. Good, now be a good little pay pig and place him in S tier for me, would you? Great, time to talk about the actual pedophile from Angry Birds. Oh, don't believe me? Is that too extreme for you? Have you forgotten this clip?
Have you ever stolen anyone's children? Huh? Have you? I mean, you look like you would.
That's right, this guy steals children and forces them to hug him. Or worse. Angry Birds tell a flock? Quit hugging him, now! Creep. F tier. You guys remember Eva from the Angry Birds movie, right? Yeah, I know you would. Let's say our favorite thing about Eva at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. She's green. Wait, why didn't you say she's green? You don't know who Eva is? God, I can't even look at you right now. You don't remember how she threw a party for her kid? You don't remember how Red literally showed up exactly on time and they told him he was late? Look, she may be a Karen, but she's undoubtedly one of the most memorable new characters. So she's going in D. Okay, you have to remember Edward then, right? Okay, you guessed correctly, but it was just a guess, wasn't it? Now, Edward I actually do hate. He's a freaking Darren, which is a male Karen if you aren't familiar. My favorite part about Edward was he got a face full of cake. He can get an F tier too. Timothy is the only one of the family that did nothing wrong. He seems like he had a pretty good day, despite seeing his dad be attacked and his unborn brother be murdered right in front of him. I remember he was using a bunch of promotional material like he was a main character or something. I drew him on this poster I have on my wall. How did he freaking invade my life like that? Honestly, I'm impressed. B tier.
Oh, hey, Chuck's mom. Can your son come out to play?
All of this does not just happen on its own.
Okay, so maybe Chuck's mom never actually appeared. But he definitely has a mom, right? Maybe in this scene this actually is Chuck's mom, and Red's joke was actually for realsies. Shut up, it could be true, you don't know. Just for that, I'm putting Chuck's mom in C tier. Deal with it. Truthfully, I only really picked Chuck's mom because I want to include Bomb's mother, or as she should be known, Mom. Whoever came up with that is a certified genius. I hope her birth name is actually Mom, though that would be a little messed up of her parents to do. She technically can be heard in one scene in Angry Birds 2, but there's also this beautiful rendering of her. I love Mom. As our last Angry Birds movie character, we'll let her go and C next to Chuck's mom. They can have a little gossip time while we get to our last character. As you all know, the moment I put the word Stinky Steve into my script, the world has been infatuated with this character. I have never seen so many comments all demanding we see Stinky Steve. And it was a great joke at first, but it left me actually wondering, will we ever see Stinky Steve for real? I think a lot of people assumed I meant the Minecraft parody book called Stinky Steve, but truthfully I only found out about that after naming the character. I also attempted to get Rovio to make Stinky Steve officially, but the best I could do was use his character creator they have. And as you can probably tell, their character creator is Dog Dookie. I hate to live in a world where Christine Bird is real, but Stinky Steve is not, but I don't know what else to do. It seemed as though Stinky Steve was never meant to exist, and so I gave up trying to campaign for his existence. But I wasn't going to give up on letting him be real. I am proud to introduce to you all the newest member of the flock, Stinky Steve. This is my own attempt at making him fit in with the classic style, and I think it did pretty good. I wanted to give him a distinct color and personality, and I know everyone loves the emo look. I was very happy with how he turned out, but he just didn't seem real enough yet. I've always thought a character has yet to exist until they've received fan art. I had some of my favorite Angry Birds artists and Jake Miller fans work on commissions for me so we could see just how awesome Stinky Steve could be. We got to see good old Steve being a little smug in this lineless style by Zanman. I love seeing my boy all happy. I'm so very happy to see him in 3D thanks to Grace and Winston. I like to imagine him driving around in Angry Birds Go, but he also just looks cooler than ever like this, even if he is a little stinky. Also, this commission costs a lot, so let's just admire it for a few more seconds. We talked a lot about Angry Birds movie characters, but what if Stinky Steve was one of them? Come on, Rovio, put him in the third movie, you cowards! This one was done by T-Rex from my Discord, and I truly am blown away by how amazing he looks in Angry Birds movie style. I didn't think it was possible. Finally, we got Russ to give us a few different looks at the character, even with his explosive stink blast he would use as his power in Angry Birds 2. I love this drawing style very much, and I'm so thankful to have received this commission. I'm gonna post all this art on my Discord, and please, if you ever feel like drawing my boy, share it with me there. Maybe nobody else cares about Stinky Steve, but he means the world to me now. I know he's not official, but technically this Obama bird isn't either, so I can't help but put my Stinky boy in S2. Well, that was certainly one of the most unhinged tier lists I've done. We're really at the bottom of the barrel now in terms of birds left to rank. I want to talk a bit about the future of the series though, because I'm curious what you guys think. Next up is definitely Transformers birds. I've been super psyched to get to them now that we finished Star Wars. But what do we do after that? If you want to see evolution characters, we'd have to do like 5 different videos to get them all. I was thinking maybe I rank all the yellow birds, and then the reds, and then the blacks, and so on. And do people even want to see that? And what about the other movie characters? Should we do them too? I started out this series saying I wanted to rank everyone, but I'm not so sure how great of an idea that is anymore. So let me know what you'd like to see. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. This list is pretty huge and pretty unique. The only place you're going to see all these specific characters together is on my Patreon. Screw tier list maker, good luck finding freaking Obama bird on there, or Stinky Steve for that matter. Anyways, I'd appreciate your support. Do you have a favorite version of Stinky Steve? Maybe you've made one yourself you think is better. Like I said, please share it. Then we can make them all fight to the death. There's only so much stank one can handle. This town ain't stinky enough for the two of us. I came here to look cool and be stinky. And my mom made me take a shower this morning. I also love seeing them come up with the logo for him. He had so many different W's on that cranium of his before they landed on the one we know. He had so many different W's on that cranium. He had so many different W's on that cranium of him. He had so many different He had so many different Man, I remember the first time everyone saw Angry Birds with arms and legs. What a time to be alive. What, not that time? I said the first time! Angry Birds had done plenty of crazy crossovers before. Rio? Well, there are birds in there. Star Wars? That is one of the biggest movie franchises of all time. But Transformers? I think it's safe to say everyone was surprised by that. The initial cinematic trailer captured that 80s VHS cartoon vibe perfectly, and while the game strays away from that charm a bit, there's still a lot to love here. In my conquest to cover every Angry Birds bird, I have no choice but to go through every Autobird in this game. That's right, all of them. If you haven't checked into the game for a while, let me just fill you in on how many birds that is. 88! That is not a joke, people. This is the biggest group of birds we've ranked in this series yet. Thankfully, most of them are reskins for the main flock, so here's what we're gonna do. I will go through each main Autobird thoroughly, and then rapid fire the copycats afterwards. It'll be pretty similar to the My Singing Monsters video I just did. That way this video isn't 3 hours long or something. I may be an expert on all things Angry Birds, but I'm gonna be completely honest. The extent of my Transformers knowledge doesn't go much farther than Bumblebee. So to anyone out there who loves Transformers, just remember I have absolutely no knowledge of those characters. Now listen up, people. I'm about to list all the birds right here, right now. Even the reskins. Our list for today includes Optimus Prime, Energon Optimus Prime, Ultimate Optimus Prime, Epic Optimus Prime, General Optimus Prime, General Optimus Prime Neon, Optimus Maximus, Blur, Ultra Magnus, Neon Ultra Magnus, Major Ultra Magnus, Nemesis Prime. Holy shit, that was just the red variants. Jeez Louise! Bumblebee, Energon Bumblebee, High Octane Bumblebee, Classic Bumblebee, Rodimus, Nemesis Hot Rod, Cliff Jumper, Private Cliff Jumper, Cosmos, Grayslam Grimlock, Energon Grimlock, Goldbite Grimlock, Triptychon Volcanicus, Heatwave, Sentinel Prime, Ratchet, Specialist Ratchet, Neon Ratchet, Hound, Special Officer Hound, Ironhide, Security Officer Ironhide, RC, Scout RC, Arachnid, Chromia, Sergeant Chromia, Neon Chromia, Nova Star, Moonracer, Sharpshooter Moonracer, Greenlight, Sergeant Greenlight, Flame War, Sergeant Flame War, Jazz, Ricochet, Blaster, Sideswipe, Private Sideswipe, Neon Sideswipe, Red Alert, Private Red Alert, Sunstreaker, Mirage, Private Mirage, Blue Streak, Prowl, Major Prowl, Neon Prowl, Smokescreen, Beachcomber, Drift, Wheeljack, Engineer Wheeljack, Warpath, Grapple, Omega Supreme, Sergeant Omega Supreme, Private Deadlock, Windblade, Energon Windblade, Alita 1, Nightbird, Sergeant Nightbird, Slipstream, Alpha Trion, Captain Alpha Trion, Superion Cup, Nautica, Energon Nautica, Strong Arm, and Eggbot. If you played the audio of that song with no context, it would sound like an insane person. Please remember we'll be going very, very quickly through like 60% of those. Clearly we've gone on long enough. Let's find out which of these birds make me pog, and which ones are worse than a Deceptihog. As always, we get to start with the main man himself, Red as Optimus Prime. Even if you don't know anything about Transformers, there's a pretty good chance you've at least heard of this one. And it's no surprise that this is our first Transformer in the game. Each character has their own strengths in battle, but Red's couldn't be more straightforward. He shoots a single bullet at a regular interval. I really don't know how to feel about Red's design here. It's really not interesting or all that exciting, and honestly leans more towards mediocre if I'm being honest. I also want to draw your attention to the eyes. Each character has a completely different style when it comes to their eyes, and I encourage you to spot each one in the video. The inconsistency just makes them all look out of place, and Red's might be the most out there. Mostly just because literally everyone else has eyes and he's a glowing white squared Cyclops. Anyways, Optimus Prime is one of the weakest versions of this character. Compared to the others, the design is pretty lacking, and sadly I'm going to have to put our first guy in C tier. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Now we get to go through the 6 different versions of Optimus Prime. Amazing. Thankfully they're all nearly the exact same thing, so we can just rapid fire them. First up is Energon Optimus Prime. Slap some blue lines on him and call him new, I guess. Try harder next time, F tier. Ultimate Optimus Prime is barely visually distinct from the regular one, honestly looking way worse, and he has a slower shot, D tier. Epic Optimus Prime isn't even based on an actual character, they just made this one up. It attacks like Grimlock and uses gold and black accents for his color scheme. This one is actually pretty cool, A tier. General Optimus Prime is just a scratched up war veteran version of the regular one, and if you thought that was dumb, almost every character is also going to have a beat up version of themselves. It also cost $20 to buy when it came out. F tier is going to be full tonight. What an A we got here. General Optimus Prime Neon. See, this is what the Energon one should have looked like. They didn't even bother to change its weapon. C tier. Lastly, there's Optimus Maximus. That probably should be considered its own character, but what the heck, I'll just group it in here. This is our first of many giant characters, and they're so huge they don't even fit into the Astro Train. They are officially known as combiners, kind of like Voltron or something. Each limb is from a different character, and all these cars are actually characters in the game, so that's pretty cool. The point of these things is to be massive premium characters that deal a ton of damage, and that could place them towards the top of the list, but what I really hate about the combiners is that they lose the ability to drive. So when you're being shot at, there's no dodge option, you just have to take it. One of the biggest aspects of the gameplay is to turn it into a vehicle, and they can't! Plus, most of these guys get a secondary ability to try to make up for it, but this one just doesn't have one! I'm getting so angry so early, people! Get in D tier! We move on to a new character using Red's design, and did Red just get sexy, or is it just me? There are a few characters in the game that they just took the head of one Angry Bird and swapped it with the animations and body of another. So we have Silver, a female character, now with Red's head on top. It ends up looking like a stretched out Mega Man with Red's face pushed in the middle. It's really just uncanny, not a fan. But he is pretty fun to use in game. While Chuck is usually the speedster, Blur is able to go so fast he slows down time. As a flying car, I suppose that makes sense? Anyways, I like using Blur in game, but he looks really strange, so he can go in B. Ultra Magnus is much more familiar, and I'm angry this doesn't count as an Optimus Prime clone. It's literally Optimus Prime but silver! Well, he does look pretty cool, I hate having to admit that. And he's alright in game, so let's give him a C as well. Oh, you thought we were done with Ultra Magnus? There are 2 more! First one's Neon! He's not even red anymore! Ah yes, my favorite leader of the flock, Blue. F tier! Major Ultra Magnus. Battle-scarred Ultra Magnus. I had to waste time cutting on an image of this guy's stupid head just to put it in F tier! Happy? The last Optimus Prime is thankfully a pretty fun one. We have an evil Optimus Prime with an inverted color scheme. This guy was released during a Halloween event too, which is pretty dang fitting. Of course, I'm sick of all these Optimus Primes by now. We're like 5 minutes into the tier list and it only consists of one character 12 times. But I gotta give proper recognition to this cool addition. B tier. Oh, you thought just because that was the last one that there wasn't going to be a Captain Nemesis Prime? Obviously they need to make a darker, less interesting version of the character with the exact same weapon. F tier!
Every Transformers noob loves Optimus Prime, but the real fans out there know that Bumblebee is where it's at. I'm almost definitely wrong about what I just said, but I really just wanted to justify why I like him so much. In the original cartoons, he was a little bug car Volkswagen, but in recent times they've changed his vehicle to look like a super cool muscle car. While die-hard fans might prefer the classic look, I gotta say he looks pretty awesome. I love the way the car doors make a wing shape on his back, and the yellow color scheme is really great. He used to not be the strongest character to play as, but more recently received a buff, so I don't actually feel bad about ranking this guy towards the top. I wanted to get through the boring red variants as quickly as possible, so now it's a much better time to start talking about the insane cutscene comics in this game. I don't know who came up with these things, but some of them are completely incomprehensible. One of them shows the Astro Train shopping for canned bread. One shows Corporal Pig looking at a butterfly and then exploding. Multiple depict characters trying to eat Energon Cube sandwiches. Multiple! And the Energon Optimus Prime one is great because it starts with Chuck asking for help, Red glows in the dark for him, and then Chuck sits down and starts reading the paper. Incredible. Anyways, Bumblebee is awesome. A tier. I think from now on, I'll just say Energon, insert character's name here, F tier. So, Energon Bumblebee, F tier. High Octane Bumblebee is pretty visually similar to the evil Optimus Prime, and truly looks just as cool if not more so than the original Bumblebee. A tier. Remember how I mentioned that the original comic version of the character was a little Volkswagen? Well, they've made a classic Bumblebee to fix that. What's funny is they released this to celebrate the new Bumblebee movie, which has a cool muscle car, when the regular Bumblebee in this game already had that model. They got it backwards somehow. Anyways, they didn't change his head or anything, just a car. His weapon is different at least, but I wouldn't say it's remarkably better or worse, just different. I'm thinking C tier. Now we have Rodimus, a completely different character that kinda just looks like a more red Bumblebee. The red is not as great of an accent color, but he's pretty fun to use in game, I think. Let's give him a B tier. Then of course, an evil version of him, who looks exactly like the other Bumblebee, but less interesting. D tier. And who could forget about Cliff Jumper? I wonder what he gets up to in his spare time. Basically, if you want a Rodimus to have the Volkswagen model and bigger bull horns, you're gonna freaking love this guy. Unfortunately, I did not ask for either of those things. D tier. And Private Cliff Jumper should have stayed private so he didn't get put in F tier. If this makes you mad, remember people paid actual money to buy a desaturated scratched up Cliff Jumper with no change to his weapon in any way. Please do not waste your money on this game, I beg of you. I was pretty surprised to see Cosmos show up. He's got a body type unlike anyone else, and I was immediately curious what he transformed into. He's a straight up UFO, and that's just amazing. I really love how round he is, and his design is pretty funny. I just have to appreciate a Chuck variant that isn't just Bumblebee repainted. I don't mind playing as him either, so what the heck, give him an A tier. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Dinosaurs are awesome. Hal is my favorite bird. Combine them both and put him on a three-wheeler and call him Grimlock, baby. Grimlock seems like he's as much of a fan favorite as Hal is, so their combination is really a match made in heaven. What other Angry Birds game led to unlock Hal this early? He's a main member of the flock here. The fact that Bomb and Matilda had to wait behind Hal is such a gratifying feeling. Something cool about this game is when you upgrade a character, their appearance changes. For almost everyone it looks awesome, and then we have Grimlock over here with the massive steel beak. His beak was already huge, why put another one on there? But you can't take this away, Rovio. You made perfection and that can't be ignored. I'm not even gonna mention if he's actually good in game or not, I don't care! He has to be S tier. I love Grimlock, but I made it pretty clear I have no tolerance for the Energon versions. I still love Grimlock, so have a pity, D tier. It sounds like Goldbite Grimlock might be better in game, but the super pale gold color scheme for him is really sad compared to the first one. Let's say B tier. Trypticon is our evil Decepticon version of Hal, and I love the idea, but again, can't say the look is cooler than the original. He gets a cool black hole though, so let's put him towards the top in A. Grimlock got a Mega Combiner version as well, known as Volcanicus. I'm already not a fan of these guys. This one in particular looks like Dog Dookie, has no special ability, a super weak attack, and is gonna go in F tier. Heatwave is surprisingly one of a kind. It's pretty nice to see after the 10 or so Optimus Primes. It's funny though, Terrence is typically a fan favorite no matter what. Just look at my tier list, almost every version of him is up there. But if you've ever tried playing as Heatwave in this game, you'll see why he's so hated. He gets one shot every millennium, and the shot isn't even that great. It would maybe even out if it completely destroyed what it hit, but sometimes you gotta attack the same spot 3 or more times. He's way too slow, and no one likes him. His firefighter getup isn't that amazing either. Terrence is known for not moving, so he kinda just stands there. Irish jig jump scare! I like that his ladder moves his head up and down, but I really don't care for this firefighting slowpoke. F tier. One of the earliest variants in the game is Sentinel Prime, a character so visually similar to Heatwave, they actually acknowledge how Chuck couldn't tell them apart in his introductory cutscene. So you knew they looked the same, yet made no effort to change that. Man, that's how you know they cared about this game. He has 3 lasers rather than 1, but they're all weaker than the single laser, so is it really that much better? Nope! F tier. Speaking of Ratchet, that's also the name of our next Terrence Transformer. This medical bot fixes his low shot, allowing him to actually take down enemies quickly when needed. Sadly, his weapon overheats, making him only a little better than the others. I like his design enough to give him a low C tier. You just couldn't help yourself, could you? A character with no battle scars? People pay money to have one of those! Can't wait to talk about the neon version after this one. F tier. I wasn't freaking kidding. At least he looks a little cool. Not that cool, but fine. D tier. Hound is a pretty badass name. Plus, they finally gave him a decent attack. So, finally, Terrence has received a pretty cool character with a strong attack power, and I'm sure Terrence fans are ecstatic. I'm so happy for you all. Sadly, I don't think Transformers deserves an S tier Terrence. They need to learn their lesson. Hound can still have an A tier. You love ruining good things, don't you? I told you they don't deserve an S tier. I must say, they did do a little more than just make him dirty this time. Fine, D tier. The last new Terrence is known as Ironhide. He kinda just looks like a fat Optimus Prime. Not to mention his special helmet he wears. Look, when the character is red, they probably don't look all that interesting if you add more red, just saying. He's another not so great Terrence, so he's gonna go in C. Why not? Terrence really needed 3 scratched up variants, especially when none of them are fun to play as. This one actually looks horrible. F tier. We move on to Stella. Again, it is so cool that Hal, Terrence, and Stella were so prominent in this game. For a long time, every female character out of the game was solely represented by Stella, which is pretty sad. There are more than one female bird people. Thankfully, they've since added a few more female characters, but we've got a lot of Stellas to go through now. She rivals Optimus Prime and Bumblebee with the amount of characters to get through. RC was the first, and a motorcycle driving girl boss is a surefire way to make me love a character. Here's the thing though, check out her appearance in the trailer for this game. Now let's look at her in the comics. And finally, her in-game design. Why? She looks amazing in every version other than the games. Tell me why this looks like it was made for the PS2. And those eyes! She could have been so great, and instead she looks like this. Her attack is more about pushing than damaging, which can be good, but not always. I wish it didn't have to be like this, but you're gonna go and see as well. I always thought I wanted a dirty version of Stella, but this is not what I meant! F tier. Now we have Arachnid, another evil version of the same model. I figured she would fly a plane or something, hence the air in her name, but she also just drives a motorcycle. I decided to look up what the actual Transformer looks like, and was blown away by how cool it was. If this game tried even a little to make characters look like this, I'd be having a much better time right now. D tier. I got a fawn over one of these Stellas, it's kind of the brand at this point, and Chromia was released for a Valentine's Day event, so what the heck. I hope someday she will be mine. Actually, she kinda is mine. I own her in game now. Finally, the day she is mine is today! My love quest for a boyfriend-free girl is over! Thanks, Chromia! Very cool. She's also one of the better Stellas, so this works out great. S tier. Alright, I can only pretend to care for so long. All it takes is this crappy Sergeant Chromia to break this camel's back. F tier. The only good thing I can say about Neon Chromia is the massive glowing blue eyes finally work here. D tier. Next we have Nova Star, the fire version of our favorite female Angry Birds Transformer. Stella finally gets a new vehicle this time, and we get to see her take wing. I love seeing Stella take wing. B tier. Moonracer is a blue version of the same character who's stronger in game. B tier. Sharpshooter Moonracer is a crappy version of the same character who has no differences, and I hope she drowns! F tier. Guys, we've gotten the green light for another Stella clone. Man, it was really cool when we made her blue. Kinda makes me wish we made her green next. Yes, that's exactly all I've ever wanted. Thank you! Said no one ever! D tier! I don't know how much more of this I can take. Just get an F tier. While thinking about the flame wars I'm gonna have with children in the comments who like Angry Birds Transformers, Stella changed her name to exactly what I was thinking of. This one is the actual evil version of Stella, categorized as a Decepticon. The red is cool, I guess? We're almost done with the Stillas. I'm just going to put her in D so we can move on. Wow, a desaturated, worse looking version of the character we just looked at. My favorite! Get out of here, I want to talk about Bubbles now, F tier!
You like jazz?
I love jazz. Thanks, Barry B. Benson. Bubbles gets to be jazz in this game, and I couldn't be happier. I feel like they typically make the cool guy Bomb or Chuck. Bubbles has more of an innocent little kid vibe, so for him to have a sports car and cool pair of shades is really fun. All of his versions have this cool guy personality, and I really love that. If only they didn't make 10 versions of this character, I could actually appreciate it. He's pretty decent to play as too, which makes this an easy S tier for me. Before looking at the others though, I had always heard how cool the telepods of these guys were, but I never owned any as a kid. I felt like having one, and there are literally no other cheap and widely available ones besides this Jazz and Brawl 2-pack. I've had this thing since like September, it's just been sitting on my counter, so it feels great to finally open it. Jazz looks like a completely different character for some reason, and it's pretty sad how little posability this thing has. It was pretty fun that I could switch between the driving and running mode so quickly, and it's nice to have another character to go with him. Now I can make them kiss at least. Don't forget that I can scan him into the game and play as him, which is pretty nice. I wish I had more telepods, but at least I can say I got little old Jazz. Let me know which ones you have in the comments. Ricochet is one of the few color swaps that I think look just as cool as the original, and having the name Ricochet actually matters as his shots bounce off of objects. This doesn't always do something cool, but everyone loves a good trick shot. So far, Bubbles is the best treated character of the bunch. I really hope I didn't just jinx myself. I'll play it safe and give him an A. Blaster ends up stealing Chef Pig's animations, doing this cocky little hip thrust at all times. Could you stop moving for 5 minutes? I'm not as fond of this one as it's a complete copy of Chef Pig just with Bubbles' head on top. He also just looks less cool than his brothers. C tier. Sideswipe's name also relates to his weapon, literally swiping objects as he shoots. It's pretty fun to use, but I'm not too crazy about this design, so B tier. I was wondering when we get another one of these. This one is just rusty and scratched up for no good reason. F tier. I believe this is the most recent character, being added only a few months ago. Wait a second, does that mean this video will be outdated? Aw no, I don't want to have to come back to this crap. This is all your fault, Neon Sideswipe. If you didn't look cool, I'd place you lower than D tier. Red Alert is kind of a weird name for a character. He looks boring, and he's basically got the same weapon as Matilda has. We haven't even gotten to Matilda yet. Wait your turn. D tier. Private Red Alert is an even weirder name. Anyways, you know the drill. F tier. Then there's Sunstreaker, who's the exact same as the rest except black and yellow now. Has this gotten old yet? Let's finish up. There's just one more. C tier. Other than the costume that you can have an island on his head, there's not much to say about Mirage either. He thankfully was given a unique design and car. The Bubbles reskins are getting pretty old. It's still not amazing and it can go in C as well. And Private Mirage. I hate you. F tier. Finally, from this point on, most characters only have 5 or so reskins. It's still a lot, but not nearly as much. The Blues took a little while to join the team, but I think their final look ends up being pretty fun. Sure, Blue Streak and all these other characters taken over by Jay, Jake, and He Who Shall Not Be Named don't typically have 3 heads, but I personally don't mind. Looking at the earliest version of their design in the comics, one of the Blues, obviously Jake, takes the head, while the others are forced to be the feet. That's pretty messed up. Jim should have been the freaking crotch more than anything. I like the change they made here, and some of their animations are really fun, especially the juggling one. It's really cool that they get to drive an invisible car too. Wait, that's not supposed to happen? Oh, well, that car is fine too, I guess. Not as amazing as an invisible one though. I also love that they took the form of Blue Streak primarily, as Blue Streak typically doesn't have an ounce of blue in its color scheme. It just works out so perfectly this way. Their attack has a splitting mechanic, which again is spot on for the Blues. They aren't incredible in game, but I'm a big fan of their appearance here. Let's go A tier. Prowl is a bit less visually interesting, but is a bit better to play as, I think. I'll put them down in B tier. Scratched Up Prowl, on the other hand, is going in F tier. And Neon Prowl gives the Blues the demonic looking eyes they've always deserved, so let's give them a D tier. Smokescreen gets a pretty cool looking car and a smoke effect with each shot. They're just so colorful, it's nice to see after the mundane major Prowl we had to sift through. B tier. Lastly, the Blues got to be Beachcomber. I wonder what they get up to in their spare time. They are extremely similar to Smokescreen, except now shooting sand rather than smoke. Whoop-de-doo. This is somehow the first blue-based blues character, which actually looks pretty nice. I'm feeling generous, let's give them a B too. Just like that, we get to move on to Bomb. There's no way in the modern day that Bomb would be added so late, but maybe they were hoping to entice people to come back and play the game again after his inclusion. He gets to be Drift, the samurai transformer. Sometimes he has this massive thing on his head, and other times he looks much more normal. I've got the normal one, so let's just pretend the other version doesn't exist. I think his sports car looks really cool, and his shirt and weapons not only fit his personality here, but are super effective. The more I've looked into Drift, the more I've started to like him. We also don't have very many S's today, so I think we should give him a little boost. Then we have Wheeljack, who I like the look of quite a bit less. He's still in a samurai pose for some reason, despite wielding a straight up rocket launcher. I must say, he's really fun to use in game. You just can't go wrong with the rocket launcher. I'll put him in A tier. Scratched up Wheeljack isn't nearly as horrible as the rest, plus he's still got that rocket launcher. He can have a D tier. Warpath is a pretty badass name, but taking a look at his derpy wallet expression has the exact opposite reaction. He's based on King Pig's body type, making him a straight up tank. No one else has gotten to be a tank yet, so I must say this is an incredible vehicle for a Transformer. It is so unbelievably fun to play as this guy, but as soon as his gun overheats, I clench my fist and go, knock it off! Looking at a, mentally challenged Bomb is pretty amusing, and I kinda wanna say S, but I'll give it an A as well. Congrats on being the 69th bird today, Grapple. Anyways, if you want to know who is the most hated Angry Birds Transformer character, then good news, it's freaking Grapple. More like Crapple, am I right? I actually am right this time! I'm clearly no expert at this game because I played as him and thought he was just fine. He's a Terrence clone, so he walks slow, but otherwise I don't really know what makes him so bad. His yellow and blue color scheme isn't too impressive, and if people really hate him that much, I'm not about to disagree. F tier. Our next combiner is Omega Supreme, which is pretty drastically different from the other bombs we've seen. Feels like he's gotten the most unique look out of everyone, despite having half the body count. This is our first combiner that has a secondary ability, being able to ground pound and wipe out most objects on screen. He's probably the best combiner we've seen yet, continuing our streak of highly rated bomb clones. I'll put him in B. Would you believe it if I told you they made a beat-up version of a combiner too? You thought we were safe? Think again! Who will want another Omega Supreme that only makes him look worse? Yep, as tradition, it plays exactly the freaking same! What the hell's the goddamn point, people? F tier. I'm not even gonna say anything for this one, let's just watch this sick cutscene instead. That makes me laugh every time. S tier. Silver has gotten to be in so few Angry Birds games, so that makes her inclusion here so much more special. We can also thank the heavens that this is her in-game design and not the god-awful movie design she received later.
Have fun being alone!
This really makes her feel like part of the flock, and I'm just happy to see a newer character get added to Transformers. I must say the crown-looking thing is really weird to me, and I know that's just what Windblade looks like, but it kinda clashes with the rest of her design. Still, she's a cool plane with a pretty good attack. Let's give her an A tier. It's been a while since we've seen an Energon version show up. Since Silver only has 3 forms, I don't mind this one all too much. It's not like we're sick of Silver or anything, compared to the others this is a gift. C tier. As requested, Silver removes her crown and replaces it with a new helmet. You dropped your crown, queen. This is by far my favorite version of Silver. Her machine gun weapon makes her gameplay so much more fun. I can literally shoot at whatever I want with no repercussions, and the design is awesome. Screw Windblade, this is what Silver deserved all along. S tier. There's this really cool evil purple bird in Angry Birds that I would have loved to see get out of this game. She'd be another female rep, she could fit in with the Deceptihogs, and she has a really cool purple color scheme. Wait, you're telling me they added her? Gale is in the game? Wait, what are you talking about? I was talking about Gale. You mean there's another bird that fits that exact description as well? Who? Wait. No. No, this can't be happening. No. I've avoided this for so long. Please, no. No. No! If you haven't noticed, Zeta has yet to be ranked on our tier list. I've got a few words to say about this freak.
Balls!
But for now I've been keeping her appearances down to these strange, creepy fan art drawings of her. But I've been left with no choice. They just had to include Zeta in Transformers. I don't even know how to pronounce her name, people. Maybe I should just say Zito from now on.
Cheeto.
If you don't know who this bird is, it's the main villain of the second movie. I don't blame you if you forgot about her either. Zeta is Nightbird, and it's impressive they had a character with bird in it and hadn't introduced them until now. I assume there's some futuristic flying car kind of thing, but it looks like she just fashioned a garbage can into an outfit. It's hard to get more visually boring than this. And look at her face! I can't even tell this is a face. Unless I bring it to the side, she just does not work in this art style. Sadly, her weapon is awesome. Shooting blocks of ice at the enemies is really cool. God damn it, Zito, just let me hate you! Lucky for her, I've got a little surprise cooking up. This is exciting, guys. For the first time ever, I'm adding an extra tier just for a specific character. Let's welcome Zeta to her new home in Zeta tier, or as it's shortened named, Z tier. Man, if only Z tier could fit on the screen. Oh well, that's too bad. Guess we'll just have to remember she's down there. Hold the phone, there's more of you? Well, at least Z tier is going to get a bit more use now. Sergeant Nightbird is somehow more bland and uninteresting than the first one. Doesn't really matter what I think of her though. I can't really put Zeta anywhere other than her own dang tier. Of course there's one more. What even is this design, by the way? I can't even tell what's supposed to be on her head. It looks less like a face than it already did. The plane does look pretty fun, but that's it. Join your sisters in Z tier, you witch! Would you believe we have more of the flock yet to see?
Peekaboo.
Mighty Eagle himself is here too. But what the hell? That's what you guys think he looks like? He went from this to this? A giant, menacing, invincible mass of destruction is just a puny little head on a scrawny body? He should be massive! Well, too bad, we got this instead. Purple and red are a strange color choice for the Mighty Eagle, but I guess any discussion on his looks are pointless. He is undoubtedly one of the most OP characters in the game. Sure, he isn't invincible, and he doesn't just wipe out every level, but he is really good. And although this tier list takes everything into account, I think it'd be dumb to place such an overpowered character lower than S tier. Just know I hate him as a person. Look at him squatting. Just shit already! Captain Alphatron defies all laws of physics by being the only captain, private, sergeant, etc. to not be scratched up. He's still more pale and uninteresting, but is only rusty, not scratched. You realize this makes me hate you even more, don't you? You think you're special? F tier! If any character had to be a combiner, Mighty Eagle obviously makes the most sense. I would have assumed he was only a combiner before unlocking his other forms. This version of him is the most fitting of the Mighty Eagle, and that definitely makes me appreciate him more. His special secondary ability is a set of missiles, which is just a nice bonus really. I still have no respect for the combiners, but a lot of them have a B tier at least. There's also a version of the Mighty Eagle named Cup. We got Silver as Windblade, Zeta as Nightbird, and now a guy named Cup. 2 girls, 1 cup! S tier! The last bird I have to cover is Matilda as Nautica. After all the Stella variants there were, I really have to wonder why they waited so long to include the bird that's in nearly every other game. This game gets stranger and stranger by the minute. And speaking of strange, it is extremely weird to have this slim feminine robot body with Matilda's head on top. It reminds me of that one version of Red with the feminine body type. It just seems out of place. Matilda actually gave players the opportunity to unlock her without premium currency or real money, and that's pretty amazing. Players who have sunk years into the game were given another transformer to work on, and that's a really nice note to end on. Her character's name is Nautica, so she appropriately has water-based attacks, and they're pretty good. I'm really happy with Matilda's inclusion, and I only feel that her design leaves a little to be desired. A tier it is. We couldn't just end on a positive note though, of course not. Quite possibly the least different Energon version ever goes to Nautica. At least she has an acid effect on her attacks now. D tier. Our last playable character of the list is Strong Arm, and honestly, what a great one to end on. Matilda gets beefy, and this just looks so much more fitting than her other body type. The red and blue works perfectly for her police car aesthetic. What am I even saying? She's beefy! That's all you need to know! I'm not the biggest fan of her weapon though, as its arc is just annoying to use. I would love to end on an S, but I think a B is more fitting. We're not done yet though. I've historically ranked the eggs as well, so I've got to include the egg bots too. You've probably seen them a few times through the video, since they act as an enemy type in certain levels. They're these pesky, mischievous little guys, causing chaos and mayhem wherever they go. The pigs and birds have sort of teamed up to take them out. The eggs are causing the island to go nuts in the first place. In game though, they're harmless, and your goal is to farm coins from them in the levels they appear in. I've always questioned placing them anywhere other than F tier on the list, mainly because they aren't actually birds, but I suppose everyone here is a robot. Except Zeta, of course. That's what we in the business like to call a freak of nature. But still, after this mess of a tier list, I don't think it's fitting to end positively. The characters in this game piss me off, so instead, it thematically makes much more sense to end our list by putting the egg bots in F tier. Chances are you might have caught on to the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of this game. Don't get me wrong, it isn't all bad, but you can only go through so many reskins of the same character before getting frustrated. These birds disguised as robots in disguise are cool. I only wish they'd put more effort into making each character special. I implore you to look up any Transformers character and put it up side by side with the ones in game. Chances are, if it wasn't the first character that bird was linked to, it looks absolutely nothing like that character. There are some really cool Transformers characters that got done dirty here, and that's hard to forgive. If you love playing this game, more power to you, but I'm personally pretty happy to be done with this list. And speaking of, maybe we should discuss what it means to be done with this list. This is the 5th part of my series of ranking every Angry Birds bird, and there's around 250 to 300 birds on our list now. That is a lot, and technically there are more. We haven't covered games like Evolution or Angry Birds Cheetos, and there's a lot we could do with the movie's characters as well. But I hate to say this, it feels like we've covered most of the birds worth covering. Yes, I know there are a lot of fans of the newly data mined Drill Bird, and there are official space variants of Matilda, Hal, and Stella now, and I'd love to keep going with this series. But it might be best to call it quits, you know? If there's a high demand to make a 6th part, of course I will. But if you're all satisfied, then I think this will make for a nice, big, final wrap up on the longest series on my channel yet. Don't worry, I still gotta rank more pigs, more games, and a ton of other ideas I have for Angry Birds content. It's not going anywhere, so I hope you all stick around for those videos too. Considering I put most of these in F tier, my members are going to consist of a lot of low ranked birds today. Sorry guys, but if you want to be a channel member disguised as a bird, disguised as a robot in disguise, then please consider becoming a member of the channel today. Thank you Groth One Finger, Cobalt Chrome E, Patrick Bayerjan, Honomaki, Bright Streak, MD Switchy, Gall Guy, Dolphin Rider H2O, Dojo Master, Christoph Creations, Generic Toho Fan, Pez Dispenser, Eduardo Santiago, It's Me Ali, Jasper TV, Keep, Jaxie Plays, Daisy, and Omegon. Join my Patreon so I can keep making these huge videos. I don't know what's wrong with me, honestly. I worked tirelessly to rank all of Piggy Tales, and afterwards I think to myself, you know what? I would love to rank 88 mostly horrible Transformers. I want nothing more than to spend all of January doing that. I don't blame you for who wouldn't want another Mega Supreme? Who wouldn't want another Mega? Who wouldn't want another Mega? Who wouldn't want another Mega? My god. About 1 year ago, I made my first ever ranking video of every Angry Birds bird, and at the time I somewhat jokingly stated I'd like to get to them all. To my surprise, the video blew up, and now a large portion of my audience are Angry Birds fans. My channel has grown a lot since then, and I'd like to believe I've gotten better at content creation since then. Yet, through it all, this series has remained. It's been along for the ride. We started with the main flock and wacky characters like Obama Bird and Mighty Basketball. We moved to Stella and Space with the ever iconic Ice Bird, took a detour through a completely different galaxy for Star Wars, and even gave those damn pigs a shot in the spotlight. Then brought it full circle with the creation of Stinky Steve, and my one true love, Sasha Lynx. I mentioned in the previous part all about Angry Birds Transformers that I didn't know if it would be worth it to go through literally every bird, but I know people out there want it, and truthfully, it would be pretty cool to pull off. So here's the plan. Our list is getting pretty short. As of now, any stragglers we've missed along the way that I know about will be ranked in order to hopefully make a somewhat conclusive tier list. What we'll be missing after today is a bunch of Angry Birds Movies characters, Summer Madness characters, anyone I don't know of, haven't heard of, or don't care about ranking, and Angry Birds Evolution. I kind of want to do Evolution at some point because there are some really funny and weird characters to go through, so we'll see. But otherwise, welcome to the final chapter of ranking every Angry Birds bird. Let's get started. For the first time since starting the series, we have newly discovered birds to talk about. Pretty confident the thumbnail is going to feature none other than the brand new, fan favorite, Drill Bird. It's always been weird that Ice Bird was the sole new character that's really never been seen since. He wasn't explained, he wasn't given much time to shine, and then he vanished. At least he actually got the chance to exist though. A sprite sheet for Angry Birds Space was found, giving us a couple characters never before seen. We'll get to each one, but people have clearly latched on to the Drill Bird the most. How could you not love this? At first it seems like it was meant to be a space Hal, but was it? Other than the long beak, I feel like this guy is pretty unique. Besides, it's not the only new one we found. There's an unused ability in the game files showing us how he likely would have worked. I definitely get the hype, and it makes me sad to think he'll never be real. Let's give him the respect Rovio never could by placing him in S tier. When I first saw these, I assumed they were fake because I thought the purple one looked like the one from those old 3D animations that were stupidly popular on YouTube. He's also the main reason I think Drill Bird wasn't meant to be Hal, cause look at this guy. This magenta bird is clearly unlike anyone we've ever seen. And other than the weird antenna thing on his head, he really feels out of place with the other space characters. I'm really confused by his data mine power as well. I feel like the whole black hole thing would be pretty self-explanatory, but it kind of just pulls objects around and disappears? It's probably unfinished, but seems pretty bad in this form. Personally, not a huge black hole bird fan. Sorry, we'll have to put him in C. Apparently we had already seen versions of Snowball Bomb before now. It's a pretty blurry image, but he looks very funny, and seems to be more like a snowball bird than a new form for Bomb. Anyways, it's pretty clear that this was the prototype for Icebird. Other than Bomb's explosion, Icebird basically acts identical to Bomb. I think Icebird would be infinitely more useful that way, and if we ever got him in a new game, they should really consider doing that. As for Snowball Bomb's design, it's kind of like an inverted color scheme. The white and blue are cool, and it even sort of looks like his beak is a snowball too. Definitely glad we got Icebird instead, but I do think this one is fun. B tier. Let's also talk about the Space Chuck with his visor. I'm not ranking him, grow up! There's a reason he got the visor later on, I'll just say that. Weirdly, around the exact same time they added Space Angry Birds Reloaded, including space variant looks for each of the main flock members who never got to join. Yeah, they're just costumes, sadly. We'll never know what these characters' powers would be in Angry Birds Space, but I think it's cool and definitely my favorite thing that's happened since Reloaded released. Let's look at Matilda first, who's gone fully robotic. After seeing C-3PO and a silver C-3PO especially, I'm not blown away by this one, but I still like it. I think there's been a lot of hype surrounding the idea of these designs, so when it ends up looking perfectly fine, I can't help being a tiny bit disappointed. It is good though, and she's going in B. Can't say Hal is looking too hot though. I already despise the way he looked in the Reloaded art style, and now they made him a robot too. The neon digital styled eyes and highlighted beak definitely say this one though. You can't deny it looks cool. But the rest of him is just gray, dude. Think of all the crazy things they could have done with that beak. Hal should look insane here, but he just looks basic. Drillbird towers over this wannabe. D tier. And lastly, we got Space Stella. I think she's my favorite of the three, taking her design above and beyond any fan designs I've ever seen. She feels perfectly in line with the superhero looks of Red, Bomb, and Bubbles, even getting these really cool space rockstar shades. If you told me we'd be getting space designs for these three, I'd absolutely be the least excited about Stella. And now that we have them, I'm blown away by hers over the others by a landslide. I was originally gonna say A, but that's not fair. Stella deserves this S tier. Let's move on to the other birds found alongside the new space ones. I feel strange even ranking them, but I know people will riot if I don't. So a game was discovered called Angry Birds Hatchery, but the hatchery is crossed out and now called Island. It seems like a sort of extension of the original game, or maybe would have gotten unique levels if they got further into making it. Anyways, a loading screen is a huge shocker, just a random group of birds we've never seen before. The game allowed you to make custom Angry Birds, so I guess these quote-unquote unique ones are just examples of that. It's like the freak show of Angry Birds in this game. Some monster Frankensteined a bunch of Angry Birds together. Not only do they take design features from existing birds, but their powers too. So let's go through them. I have no idea what the hell these names are or why they're so weird, but the first one is Senor Red Shark. If the sex episode featured Bomb and the Blues, this would be their creation. If you remember all the way back in the first part of the series, we ranked Bomb Bomb, a character that splits into three and explodes like Bomb. I'm not sure which came first, but yeah, same idea. It's an OP power and a pretty mediocre combination of characters. I'm saying C. Then we have a Missy Goldcrest.
What the fuck?
It's literally just Yellow Bomb with a 5-head, dude. Its ability kind of just looks like a weaker Bomb too. What's the point? To fill up F tier, I guess. But no one, nothing is quite as insulting as combining my least favorite two flock members into one character. I don't think you're prepared for this gym shit. Here is Lady Grant. What sort of sick freak at Rovio made this? You think this is funny? I need a lobotomy. I need my mind erased. This is beyond cursed. Somehow, the power is pretty nice, working the same as Chuck but smashing glass easier rather than wood. It simply does not matter, dude. If there was a tier between F and Z, this one would be in it. We're moving on now. Why are so many of these combined with Chuck? Why are so many of these cursed? This one isn't so bad, but Round Chuck isn't something I ever wanted to see in my life. This is like Round SpongeBob in the Angry Birds universe. There's really no reason why it's so long either. I assumed it was Chuck and Matilda, but no. This one splits in 3 too. Not nearly as bad, but definitely putting Headshot in D tier. Lastly, we have my absolute favorite of the bunch. Reporter is just freaking funny and really isn't cursed at all. I love how huge he is with such a tiny face on top. I feel like Bomb and Matilda are pretty common love interests in fan art, so now you know what their child would look like. Explosive egg bombs is an awesome power on top of that. Reporter is the best, you can't change my mind. I don't think any of these monsters deserve a top tier placement, but Reporter can happily go in A tier. Our last new bird to talk about is actually new. We have yet another bird that originates from Twitter.com. I will never call it X, you can't make me. I've already complained about the exact problem with these characters when we had Joe, our other Twitter bird. At least Joe got to be a power-up in Angry Birds 2. Dusk's greatest achievement is being part of a comic strip. Dusk is a non-binary bird set as an allegory for a trans character. The problem is not that Angry Birds has progressive characters. If that's what you think, you need serious help. The problem is that these characters only exist for 1 month of the year, Pride Month. Rovio doesn't care about being progressive or inclusive, they just want to look good during Pride Month. It's sad, honestly. I don't hate Dusk, I just hate how Rovio treats characters like this, putting them in C with Joe. I swear to God, I planned on including the Super Angry Birds long before Chupo talked about it. At the time, it was one of the strangest things Angry Birds had ever done. But in 2024, Angry Birds has done plenty of stranger things than a superhero comic book. I guess what made it stand out was seeing the birds and pigs talk and just casually coexist with normal people like it's no big deal. It's yes big deal, actually! Anyways, the birds here are actually pretty distinct, obviously in design, but personality too. All of our favorite characters now live in New York. Money is now referred to as eggs, which is insanely confusing because what the hell do they call actual eggs then? Anyways, rather than a kingpin, we have a king pig, and our favorite team of crime-fighting superheroes is run by none other than Red Rammer. Wait, that's his superhero name? Sounds like a freaking innuendo out of context. All I know is that nothing goes harder than this image of Red shouting, "Let's kick some ass." Well, I assume it's ass. I'd be really worried if he said literally any other swear word there. Red is the leader, and sadly, really nothing more. He's a good guy, and he started the team himself, but really doesn't have any powers like the others. Apparently he's, good at ramming. Guys, I think the sex episode 2 is about to happen for real. Red looks very funny with the super muscular body, and out of all the main heroes, I generally think he looks the coolest. I really don't care for the weird patterns on his arms and legs, but yeah, such an awesome character. A tier. Chuck is known as Chaser, and he's just like every hero with super speed. If you've seen The Flash, or A-Train, or Quicksilver, then you know what Chuck is like. He's always wearing his shades, rocking a sick mohawk, and running around completely naked. Well, except for that one time he dressed up like a pig, but then he ripped all of his clothes off in the coolest way ever. Chuck is definitely better here than in his normal form, that's for sure. B tier. Bomb just goes by Bomb, which is pretty fitting for his powers, I suppose. He looks really similar to his space costume, complete with a cape and flaming head. I suppose that makes sense, considering the comics were first made as a promotion for Angry Birds Space and only later got its own series. The yellow pattern on his sides is really weird looking, and I think he's pretty lacking in this form. Feels like he'd be the easy one to make even cooler here. I don't even know how they messed him up. He gets the least amount of attention in the comics too, so I really don't feel too bad putting him in D tier. Our last hero is, of course, Terrence. He's called Thunderbird here, which seems kinda dumb. Somehow just the name of Terrence is a million times more threatening. He's awesome, he's exactly how you expect him to be, except he actually chooses to wear clothes when he fights. It's maybe the most badass form Terrence has ever had, but I think I'll always prefer the simplicity of his original design. Let's give him an A tier. There's actually an insane amount of random bystander birds in the comics, but most of them aren't even named, so I'm not ranking random birds seen in single panels of comics. Sue me. Matilda actually plays a pretty big role, especially in the first issue. She's rich, helping businesses in need, and keeping the greenhouse base for the Super Angry Birds. She's just an old rich woman with the romantic past of the Mighty Eagle. She's cool, I guess, just kinda boring compared to the others. I wish she got to be a superhero too. Oh well, C tier. The Blues got a much more fitting role as Newsies. I literally can't imagine them doing anything else in New York. I really love them here. They mostly just show up in a couple frames in each comic, but the last issue sees them as the main characters. They love Stella's singing voice and ask for the Super Angry Birds to help take out all the nightclubs in town. It makes sense if you read the comics, I guess. I realize now I sound like an insane person. I really like the Blues here, and the only one that actually got name dropped was Jake, so I'm happy. B tier. As mentioned, the fourth issue focused on the Blues and Stella. Stella is a beautiful singer who refuses to work with the pigs. By the end, the city loves her singing, and even the King Pig himself is infatuated with her. That's really the last frame of Super Angry Birds ever, by the way. Stella really doesn't look like her usual self, but I do like what they did with her character. Maybe if the series continued, she could become a Super Angry Bird too. She's fine. C tier. The Mighty Eagle runs the paper and helps protect the flock in the first issue. Compared to how powerful he normally is, he's kinda just a random guy in the comics. He doesn't even do his own work, he sends some random bird named Ray to investigate. I think the Mighty Eagle was done dirty here, just saying. Put this guy up next to the Mighty Bagel and we clearly have a superior choice. Speaking of, wouldn't it be amazing if Sasha Lynx was here too? Release the Lynx Cut Angry Birds now!
Now!
D tier. The first ever Super Angry Birds comic was made to promote Angry Birds Space, featuring every bird we just talked about in their space forms. Chuck's purple, Terrence is green, Red looks exactly the goddamn same, but we now have Icebird too. He's like the Silver Surfer of the group, and he looks pretty awesome. It's how we never got to see him in the full comic. This is literally the only image of the guy. Anyways, no, I'm not ranking all these, get over it. Who cares if there's a unique blues that's just one blue? He sucks anyways. I'm putting Super Icebird in B tier. In my most recent Angry Birds video, I took an in-depth look at Angry Birds Rio. It was really great getting to revisit my favorite Angry Birds game, and in doing so, I realized there's 2 birds in there I straight up forgot to include. I said if the video got 5,000 likes, I'd do it, and hey, we got pretty close, so I'll give it to you. Go give that video a like as thanks. And this one too, of course. Up first is the Samba bird, exclusively seen as a power-up. When activated, he makes objects near him dance a little samba and then stop, causing mass destruction. It's a decent power-up, although it is just red with some damn fruit on his head. He can samba his way down to D tier. The other bird I missed is Rocket Bird, which honestly, that's fair. He's literally only in like 6 levels. Rocket Rumble's bonus stages all feature the Rocket Bird, who spins around after being launched and rockets forward when activated. It's way too hard to control, and he's too flimsy to commit to the direction you faced him in. I always just get frustrated using the guy. Besides, that's not Rocket Bird, that's just Chuck strapped to a rocket! You can't just put some goggles on a guy and call him new. F tier. Don't even get me started on whatever Firebird is. Just put him in F and move on! Remember that Jake or Fake episode where I said Knuckles wasn't an Angry Birds character? Wait, no one watched those. Okay, fine. Remember the first part of the series when we ranked Sonic? Well, good, because since then, Angry Birds was bought by Sega, and to celebrate, both series had some collaborations. The birds got to be in Sonic Rush, we got Sonic events in the Angry Birds games, and most importantly, we got Sonic characters in Angry Birds Friends. Well, yes, I'd love to talk about Eggman Pig. He's a damn pig. Let's talk about some birds. Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. Sonic is truly one of the greatest birds on our list, and I'm so happy we can add his friends to the list too. S tier for all 3 of you, my favorite birds! In the very first episode, I meant to rank every Mighty Eagle variant. I really have no idea how I missed the Mighty Eagle. Whether you love or hate the Philadelphia Eagles, you legally have to admit their logo is pretty sick. And after getting the Hockey Bird and the Mighty Eagle already existing, it makes too much sense to also get this one. What you might not expect is that they made an entire Angry Birds Philadelphia Eagles game. In 2012, the game released, and new levels were added to coincide with the team's games that season. It's a cool idea. I would have loved to see them on a new team every year for this sort of thing. Anyways, the Eagle was basically just their logo with a jersey on and was summoned by a football. He looks really awesome and is just as powerful as the original. I guess we gotta give him S tier then. For some reason, I ranked every celebrity bird except one, a group of K-pop singers from VIX, or VIXX? I truly have no idea. They clearly all have different hairstyles and personalities, so I find it a little strange that they're all the same color. Might have been a lot of work to make them all distinct, I guess. Still, it's just a pile of handsome birds I'm forced to place on a tier list now. Let's go with B tier. I literally wrote out the entire script and then, like a distant call, like a destiny being fulfilled, a character suddenly popped in my head I had totally forgotten about. Birdie Pie! I feel like I've been edging you all with this character since I ranked Dr. Pig Respect. It's honestly because I keep forgetting he freaking exists. Other than the iconic color of headphones he has on, this just barely resembles PewDiePie at this point. He hasn't had that color of hair in forever, and I feel like he's never had a beard that looks like that. Dr. Pig Respect is spot on, so I find it strange how bad he looks. Oh yeah, and who could forget about Stella, my favorite female internet entertainer? The image with Birdie Pie just has so many questions like that. Why out of every famous person did they choose these 3 people? Sure, PewDiePie is a huge YouTuber. Sure, Dr. Disrespect was a little popular, certainly not that popular, and Stella is not a freaking influencer at all. If this came out today, I think it'd be Mr. Beast, I Show Speed, and Stinky Steve. That image would go so freaking hard, dude. Birdie Pie is just funny at best, so he goes an A, obviously. Let's finish things by getting the new birds from Reloaded dealt with. I'm sure many of you realize what that means, but before her, there's 4 different types of eagles. An orange one, a blue one, a purple one, and a red one with a fork. If there's more than that, my bad, but these are the ones I have images of. Alright, well, the orange one is boring, he's down in F tier. Then the purple one is a little more interesting, so I'll give that one D tier. Red fork guy confuses me and scares me, so he can have B. And blue is objectively the best one, A tier. Alright, it's time, people. Took me a whole 5 episodes of avoiding and making excuses, but there's one big Angry Birds character I still have not ranked. I probably would have just avoided it forever if she didn't show up in Transformers. Everyone give a cold welcome to my least favorite purple bird in the Angry Birds universe, Zeta. The most confusing and boring villain we could have had in the second Angry Birds movie should have showed up there and never anywhere else. But oh no, when the movie released, she invaded Angry Birds 2, Angry Birds Pop, Angry Birds Friends, Angry Birds Dream Blast, Angry Birds Regular Blast, Angry Birds Transformers, and most notably, Angry Birds Reloaded. Her appearances vary from being just a head to having a bit of a body to having a lot of body, and then whatever the hell you'd call her Transformers look. I really don't hate her design as a thing. The purple feathers are a really cool look, and although we've had purple birds over the years, there really hasn't been the purple bird before. I think at this point Zeta is unfortunately the purple bird, especially considering how many times she's appeared in Angry Birds Reloaded. She kinda looks the best in that style too. Feels like they finally got it right after so many tries. But that's the version I'm going to be putting on the tier list. I'm sad we had to rank her, but it's sorta cool we got to save such a big character this late into the series. Feels like the final big flock member is finally finished. But just where on this massive tier list should she go? Well, there's really only one place she can go. Zeta can join her Transformer clones in Z tier.
Balls!
Actually, what the heck, that feels empty. Let's add every version of Zeta to Z tier and really make it special. Dang, even our plushie got in there. Alright, now let's finish this. Out of all the Angry Birds promotional games, one is the funniest. I don't know why, but something about the title Angry Birds Cheetos just brings a smile to my face. It's such a silly idea. This is a game, people, taken extremely seriously, as it rightfully should. The game features Cheetos galore, paw print statues, even Chester Cheetah himself. But the game went above and beyond by giving us a brand new bird. The one and only Cheetos bag. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. The Cheetos bag is its own character with a unique power never before seen. Shooting Cheetos in every direction with a bomb-sized explosion is just incredible. I freaking love Cheetos! Of course, I'm gonna place it in S tier. If this is truly the final Angry Birds video, Cheetos is the funny way to end it. But the real way should definitely conclude with the first Angry Bird ever. Before Red, before Chuck, or Bomb, or the weird gray bird, before anyone, there was George. Who knew this one drawing would evolve into the franchise we know and love today? I love the style of the drawing too, and it's very charming that they've never attempted to remaster it or give him a modern look. This is George, forever and always, and he's the best. If a bag of damn Cheetos gets to be an S tier, then George definitely should too. I have always loved Angry Birds birds. From the second I saw them, I've been obsessed with each new color, design, and style, and I was obsessed with drawing my favorite ones. I never had any idea there would be so many one day. The pool is certainly saturated, there are plenty of characters on here I truly don't care about, and there are, quite literally, hundreds more I either haven't seen or simply care so little about I refuse to place them here. I promise you, at this point, 95% of all the funny, interesting, and notable birds have been ranked. There's definitely some funny ones out there I've yet to see, but I really can't believe I planned on Transformers being the final video. How strange would that have been? Sure, 88 characters was a big event, but this feels much more fitting, doesn't it? All those new birds from space and hatchery were a big deal for modern Angry Birds fans. Super Angry Birds is really strange and funny, and I hadn't talked about it yet. Birdie Pie? Knuckles the Echidna? Zeta? Feels like a dream team of characters to me. I just want to say as we end things here that this series has been amazing for me. So cool to know that there are videos I want to make that people want to see. Did you know the second part got more views than the first? People really love Icebird, I guess. I have loved every second of, well, almost every second of making this series. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a goodbye, but for now, it's gonna be a so long. I do want to one day make a mega video on the evolution characters. I do want to one day make a video on the movie characters. And we may get enough new birds at some point to make another edition. We'll see how it goes. Thank you to everyone who's been here since the beginning, and just know that Angry Birds videos won't be going anywhere. There's plenty to still look forward to. This series has only been possible thanks to my patrons and channel members. If you'd like to see this series have the chance to return someday, please consider supporting me in any way you can. Thank you Leland, Patrick Bayerjan, Hono Maki, Bright Streak, MD Switchy, Dolphinmire H2O, Dojo Master, Christoph Creations, Lavatane, Jasper TV, Keep, Omegon, Galguy, Jet the Legend, HTA, Cheaper Ying, Al, Gotham, Marie, and Callum Ford. No funny business at the end this time, guys. This is more like a funeral than a stand-up bit today. Thanks for watching, and thank you Surfshark. Don't forget about the link in the description. Psst. Just to make sure the real fans out there pay attention, I saved the best for last. I think my Discord channel would shoot me if I didn't include Football Matilda. Happy now, the Blackface Matilda has been ranked. You better freaking thank me. You should have known she'd go in F. Anyways, if I see literally one comment or Discord message saying I forgot her, you're officially a fake fan and will be shadow banned from the channel. Anyway, thank you, bye! Psst, is anyone still here? No? Well, good. Then I guess no one will ever see me rank Gordon then. This one's just between you and me, little guy.